does. Wait, what? The feet took it. He does pop out the fall. So, Sniper going to be onto Griffin. Tornado, EMP coming up as well. F is going to have his mana drained completely. Billy is under the fire, so Snapfire getting 2 kills on the backline. Pressure opportunity, you have no damage here. The Ghost Walk.
So I think you actually have to lead this. I'm just going to go postal. So, like, you know, that's how we're starting this. Man, that's how you know what's to come. So, but let's take it away.
Oh, it's gonna be such a good day. Today, what we do have, we have not just some amazing Dota, right? We don't just have Sin 5, which is currently my favorite South African team, taking on Energy Esports, which all the people have been hyping up for too long, time for their crown to be upended. We don't just have the continuation of EGL 1 Season 2, where we're very, very close to the finals. This is the final week itself. We don't just have a matchup which determines the grand finalist, the final boss of the tournament itself. What we do have is the Snare Hellbird combo back again. Hellbird, my friend, it's been so long. It's been a minute. How are you feeling? How are you doing? I mean, I know how you're feeling, but tell us your tale. Tell us your story, comrade, about why it's such a good thing, not just to have us together again, but to just have us on the cast together.
So look, I first have to say, I think that probably Snare, you're the only person who can handle me right now. So I'm glad. I'll say that, like, so I think you guys need to understand is that casting, it's an art, but there's also a science to it, right? And sometimes you need to get a little bit scientific. And I think if you're an art student, you probably get that, right? Like mixing the paint or, whatever it is, right? I'm not an art student, clearly. But you'll get that there is some science on it. And this is one of those days where you need a little bit of science. And I think the only person who can handle me tonight is Snare. So I'm really glad it's you. And if you saw my tweet, there's definitely reasons for that. But this is not going to be a cast that's ordinary. It's not going to be... it couldn't be set better than this, right? I mean, you were saying it. Sinister 5, Energy Esports. I mean, can I just, by the way, have to compliment? What a beautiful intro. Like, I'm glad I just immediately swung it because I don't think I was going to beat it tonight. What a great intro. But it's true, right? Like, Sinister 5 and Energy, they are your front runners for this event. They are the top 2 teams in the tournament. Obviously, if you just look at their current placements, but also I think just, the how things have been progressing in South African esports and Dota 2 for a while now. These are 2 great teams. It's really hard to call, and yes, again, if you saw what I just tweeted, this is going to be a game that, I probably will never cast a game quite like this. I'm going to leave absolutely nothing behind. Every kill is going to get a maddening cry from me, and it's going to be great. Yeah, let's go. I want this one to start. I know we're still waiting for the actual match to begin, but you don't want to miss this one. Do yourself a favor. Do me a favor right now. I'm talking to you. Yes, you, right? There we go. Staring at the camera, eye to eye, right? Look at me, right? Tell your friends that this is the one. right? That they do not want to miss this cast. It's got 2 people on it that have been around the South African Dota scene for a really long time, casting 2 teams that are so star-studded in South African Dota, getting an opportunity to make their way to the grand finals of probably the single most important event of the year, probably the last event of the year.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and say it, probably the determining opportunity to make your way the entire upper bracket, right?
Yeah.
Into what will be decided the team that wins 2021 Dota 2 South Africa. Right? That's what you're watching with 2 great talents. I mean, come on. Like you know how I feel about myself, but I feel that way about Snare too, right? So we're good. It's going to be that good. So call your friends. I'm talking to you. Yes, you. Get into WhatsApp. Tell your buddy who hasn't watched in a while. Your friend that you said, listen, I think you'd like Dota. If there's ever been that person who thought, I think you'd like Dota, right? Contact them today, and I promise you, only one thing, that these 2 teams and these 2 broadcasters will make sure that even if it's your mom that you wanted to know how Dota worked, right? You want to teach her how Dota worked, right? That she'll say, I have no idea what was happening, but I had the best time of my life. And that's a guarantee.
I mean, that's what always happens whenever you see these 2 teams go up against each other, but especially of late, right? I feel like I've been banging this drum since we saw them rejig the roster on the side of Sin 5 or just move people around in the roles, putting the great one, the great castaway back in the mid lane, your homie. It feels like this is, we had an interview last week after the game that we had where Punks was eliminated, and it was a very sad game. WRG were quite happy to be able to get that dub, but when we were speaking afterwards in the game, we were doing a player interview. And one of the things that was said was quite interesting, I think, was the remark about how we're rebuilding ZA Esports. We've had some turbulent times in the nation in this particular title. But one of the things that always gives me... I always feel that that a title is back properly when you have like true juggernauts in the game, right? For a long time, it sort of felt like the reason why Sin 5 and Energy was so far ahead was, everybody else is sort of taking a slight backseat. There was a lot of roster changes in WRG, Exdee, etc. But now you have sort of like juggernaut teams, right? We effectively have tiers again, which is great, which is awesome. We haven't had tiers in such a long time in ZA Dota, and having that back, it's really great, not just for us, obviously, to watch the games, to be able to broadcast the games, but it's good for the scene overall, right? To be able to have benchmarks to say, well, we are here as this one team, but we can see the level of difference between ourselves and these top 2 teams, your Sin 5s, your Energy Esports, and the gap is big enough to justify working hard, right? It's not big enough, it's not small enough to be like, we'll get lucky next tournament, it's fine. You actually have to grind it out. You gotta get good, you gotta practice a lot. And that's the one thing, right? All of these top teams these days, Hellbird, how much Dota do these guys play? Like, have you ever logged on and found one of these people, no matter what time of the day you're on, you'll just never not find these people always grinding it out. We're practicing, we're getting better, we're always trying to get to that next level, always trying to push the envelope. Like, it feels like nobody's willing to rest on their laurels anymore. And that always makes the games itself much more entertaining than they would be otherwise, right?
I 1000% agree with what you just said. In fact, one thing that's always kind of freaks me out is every time I look, that moment you're looking for your stack, you're looking for your boys, you're looking for Snake. Like, hey, I want boys in here for this game, right? And you start going through your friends list to see who's online. And then there's always that guy who's like, can't invite him. And whatever your reason being is fine, right? Often my reason is that it's a castaway. Like, he doesn't want to play with me. Let's be honest, be real, right? Or Adasat, or RDK, or any of these big name players. And the thing is, they're always there. They're always online. So 100% I agree. And in fact, one of the individuals I've been thinking about a lot lately is actually Adastum. And a big reason for that for me is that we focus a lot, I think, on players that have been, I'd say, the true master of their craft for that period, right? So you think about the fact that Castaway has been winning games for his team for so long. I mean, every team he's in, there's a moment we think there is Castaway just winning the game for them.
Yeah.
But in a way, I feel like Adastum is the player that was always around. He was always in a team that he was the guy winning games for his team for. But today's the day where he's the guy that I think wins tournaments for his team, but he's also the guy who's always been there. I mean, he goes back to APG days, and he was there before APG. I really think that this is a player that is... It's that moment where, you almost want to craft stories around him. You almost want to just like shine the spotlight directly on him, because I think he's been around for so long and he's achieved greatness. And he actually, I would say, he's lost more than he's won. If you go back and you look at the history books, like, yes, he has won, but he's actually been on the receiving end more frequently than that. But he's still here, and that's that's amazing, right? Like, it's amazing that this man is still around. I mean, so, do you remember back in, I want to say, sort of 2015, 2016, those kind of years, where he was playing for APG and sides were kind of top 4, top 5, etc.
I remember safely in Adestam back in the day. I remember Adestam Sven almost every other game. I remember those days.
So the point is that, like, how many other players can we talk about? I mean, even people like Castaway that, you know, have also been the RDK. They've always been in the spotlight. They've always been brought to the forefront. But Adestam, although I think we've given him credit, I don't think we've ever really given him the kind of spotlight of, like, this is the person to look at for a moment, because he's often been around greats. I mean, even when he was winning with Sinister 5, he was winning with Castaway.
He was winning with Castaway, with Schlinks, you know. It's like, at some point, I know of Grove, who's now obviously playing for Sin 5, you know, he had a small stint on that team as well. Traxion was on the team, so yeah, like, exactly. It was like one of these things where it was difficult to look at him in individuation and say, wow, this is the guy that's making this all gel together. You're just like, oh, he's around superstars. How could he not succeed, right?
And the thing is, look, I want to take a moment just to say, like, you know, no one is saying that TKC isn't a monster, right? He's a tyrant, you know, for a very like, chilled guy. Like, he's a kind of, you know, I'd say he's a mild mannered. That's fair, right? Yeah. For a mild mannered guy, he's a tyrant on the Dota field. You know, like, so the thing is, no one's saying that people like TKC aren't just crazy good players, and he's still surrounded by crazy good players. But this time, I don't think it's quite the same. I think this time he's almost, before he won events with, you know, alongside greats, but now it's almost like he's in this position where he is in fact winning again in spite of playing against greats. And I think the fact that we're seeing him go up against the likes of Castaway again and doing well, and I think in a way being the experienced person just says so much for, you know, what a player he's become. And, you know, like, this is his year. I think that this is the year that I really want to see. Without any bias, I'm always going to call great Dota, right? So I'm not scared of accusations of bias, right? But if there was a anime storyline right now, I would say that the best possible story arc is around Adestam winning this event under Energy, in spite of the fact that he's left the big boys of Castaway and that kind of stuff, you know?
It would be a big deal if they were able to beat Energy. Like, okay, I think Sinister 5 is the better team, personally. That's where my bias is. But in terms of the anime storyline, because think about this. The last time that you mentioned it earlier today, that this is the last big tournament that we're going to have for the rest of the year. Once you end this tournament, right, there's no other opportunity to really put yourself in the position to be declared like the best team, right, in South Africa. He's done this once before, but the last time he did this, at the end of the year, he was on Sin 5, right? And that was a tournament where there was no expectation that he'd be able to win that because, which team was it? Lead Pro. Yeah, that was a Lead Pro year, the first one, right? Where they were supposed to really come in, like, shine through everybody. They'd signed all the superstars. It was pretty much like a Galacticos team, right? If you were going to be using football analogies. And he, on the Sinister 5 lineup that wasn't supposed to be in such a great regard, they win, they succeed, they manage to get the W in that situation. Now imagine how amazing it would be for him. He leaves that team becomes arguably better than it was at the time on paper, right? And the team itself is even arguably better than the League Pro side that they beat that time around, and he still comes away with that W. It would be an incredible anime storyline. It would be like, especially because if we look at the people on the team right now, the only other person that's on his team who has found himself in this particular, like, championship contending situation is Deppy, right? Everybody else have been in good teams, right? Teams that will play top 4, top 5, top 6 in tournaments, but never necessarily in pure title contention all the time. And Adestam, he's the only one on the team that has that, like, long history of being in title contention. Like you mentioned, he's kept that experience, he's stayed around. And the fact that it actually is, as you were talking about it, he's lost so many tournaments. And not just lost, I think it's easier to become 4th, 5th, hell, even last place, than to be 2nd, 3rd, 2nd, 3rd, 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 3rd. Year in, year out. And you're still out here grinding. You still have that belief and that faith in yourself. And now they're at the point where, you know, they have been winning tournaments. And Adestam has been integral to the fact that they've been able to make that happen. So if they can take out Sinister 5, especially if he can do it from the mid lane, beating Castaway, who's in the form of his life, in the mid lane as well, that... Yo. Honestly, we could just look at the mid lane matchup for the whole game. That's it. Just follow Castaway and Adestam, and we'll be okay. That'll tell us the entire story of what the game was going to look like.
I want to say, I must admit, like, because we're focusing obviously a lot on the Adestam story, right? But you know what? Watch this space. You'll see something about this saga in a moment. Adam, right? The thing is, you know, the other thing about it is that, like, it's not worth winning if there's not that there aren't people worth beating, right? This is one of the things I think that I absolutely love about the competitive space, is that when you want to win a Dota game, when you want to win anything, any competition ever, imagine your dream. Imagine you sit there and you're like, okay, so this is my story. And let's use, like, I don't know, what's a good one for you? Like I don't know. There's always baseball movies, right? You always, every now and then there's a baseball movie, right? Moneyball. Yeah, just think baseball.
I've literally never watched that baseball movie in my entire life.
Go watch Moneyball. It's great. You'll love it. Anyways, not a sponsored moment, mind you. So the thing is, go watch any baseball. Like, just think of Hollywood movies, right? Whenever they show in any sports movie, let's actually forget it. We're going back. Just for you, Stan. Any sporting movie, take your pick, right? If you're into anime, there's even rugby ones out there that you can enjoy. Or Invictus, which is pretty good, right? But you never find this, like, team that's like this upstarts that are just like, we're so great and we just win, right? You always tell the story of somebody who has great opposition. They can be horrible. You can want the opposition to lose, but no one's ever saying they're not skillful. They're always brilliant, right? Maybe they're willing to cheat or whatever and get away with you with this as an art in its own, just watch any football match. But yeah, I'm in trouble for that one. But the point is, you always have to beat somebody great, right? And we were focusing on Energy Esports and Adastum and how great the story arc is. It wouldn't matter if Since 5 weren't like such a titan of a team, if Castaway wasn't worth the beating. If I'm totally honest, the new the new version of WOG, the team that we're seeing today, wasn't worth beating. And of course, you know, the purple barbarians and Exdee, right? Like there's all these teams that you want to beat. I mean, if I beat these guys in a puppy, you would know. I would tweet about it. I would mention in broadcast. Ask Rogers my puppies. Forget that. Yeah. I beat Exdee. You know, like that's how I would be. They're so good to beat. And right now, you have two of the best possible versions of this event. As a little hors d'oeuvre, right? Like, this is not the grand final, but this is quite possibly the same teams setting the stage for the grand final. And in every way, right? Like, no matter what happens here, no matter who wins, no matter if it's a quick 2-0 or a 4-hour BO3, what you're seeing now is going to start a chain of events that is going to dictate how we remember South African Dota in 2021. Yeah, that's it.
Absolutely. I mean, even for the players themselves, right? I'm sure everybody in this lobby right now is ecstatic that this is the game that's happening today on Tuesday rather than later in the week, because this gives them time to look and pore over every split second of the replays. They're going to be studying every map movement, every ward placement, every hero pick. And like you say, it's not just going to determine how they play when it comes to the finals if these two teams do meet again, but every other team is going to be doing the same, right? These two are the front setters, they're the trendsetters for a reason. So you have to study them. You have to understand why they do what they do in the game. And I think it helps a lot that we're not just in a situation where these are just super high-skilled players relative to the rest of the field, right? No. There's a reason why we brought up earlier how much actual Dota these people play. Everybody is... Check their MMR. It's like, I'm not even going to tell you, right? I'm not even going to tell you. Do yourself the favor and go find out just how highly rated everybody is. Their understanding of Dota is very, very high. So this is going to be like the definition of SA Dota is this matchup right now. You know, for years we had like WRG versus Bravado, and that was it. That's what really made the year. And this feels like it's back to that sort of derby situation. Ain't like, this is El Clasico, the modern El Clasico. And Hellbird, not I love about this El Clasico, that we have a draft for it as well. So we're gonna see El Clasico heroes. I'm so ready.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you do a picture-perfect segue into the draft. And here we are. But like, just again, we're gonna go ballistic. So I'm gonna say this one last time. If you ever wanted to introduce somebody to Dota, if you ever sat that night wondering that your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your mom, your brother, whoever it might be, if you ever thought, I wanted to show them a game that would make them love this the way that I do, this is it. Like, regret it for the rest of your life if you don't take this opportunity, because I promise you, we are going to blow this place up, and we're going to do it alongside two of the best teams. Frankly, I'm going to say this, like, you're going to see some of the best quality Dota that you're going to see outside of, like, DPC, right? Like, I don't think there are many teams that can go toe-to-toe with Since 5 and Energy Esports outside of DPC. You're going to see it on home soil. You're going to see it with two people who absolutely love this game, a team behind us that absolutely love this game. And, well, if you love this game, Now's your chance. Get them in here. Let's go, because it's going to be absolutely crazy. So, would you do us the honors of taking us through the bans?
So Energy Esports are making sure we're all gonna have a fun day today by banning the Grove Tree. They're like, sorry, take this out, and then they ban away the Schlinks / Grove Earth Spirit, because both of them can play the hero really, really well. They're like, you know what? We're not gonna allow y'all to have this either. So we're already off to a very good start. They take out on the other side from Sin5. Snapfire LC is gone, which definitely makes sense. Snapfire, one of the most like stable support heroes in the entire game right now. A lot of teams just start the game by first picking it. And of course, you really can't take the chance of playing against the Jappa Legion Commander. It is, I think, like, in my mind, Legion, Bloodseeker, maybe like a Centaur or whatever are the heroes where I'm like, this is outstanding whenever I see Jappa play this. So it shows and demonstrates that both teams are not coming into this situation half-cocked. They are understanding exactly what makes their opponents good, banning out those heroes, and leading into some strong early picks. Sin5 start with the Undying to buttress the laning phase, and Energy Esports, generally I like Energy when they're playing with fast pace, when they can push the tempo. When you're playing with Nightstalker Weaver, certainly fits the bill to be able to do that.
Yeah, I think one of the things I really enjoy about Nightstalker as well is the fact that this is a hero that makes stuff happen on the map, right? This is not somebody who wants to sit back, wait for things to happen. It's a hero that's going to really try to get in your face. And in the same way, I like that about Undying. So we're going to see aggression. Okay, well, never mind. And I like that about Spirit Break, because we're going to see aggression. These are not lazy heroes. They want to do stuff. Even Weaver. Weaver as a core, even though this ends up being a one-position Weaver, this is not a lazy character. This is the kind of hero that will go off and support his core when it's fighting over neutral creeps, right? Like, these are action-packed heroes. Beautiful chef's kiss. We are setting the stage here. Woo, we're not going to let you down tonight. I'm getting more and more confident about any promises I've made. Last chance, guys. I'm not going to remind you again. Get your friends in here. This is going to be... I want to say the grand final is going to be the game of the year, right? But it's going to be really hard to beat because this game's happening first. So don't miss it. Don't miss it with your friends.
This is also going to be so much, like, the amount of kills that are going to happen in this game is kind of insane. Undying Spirit Breaker on the one side, Nightstalker Weaver, and it doesn't seem to be any indication, if I'm looking at their subsequent bans here in the second phase, that they're ever going to stop with that kind of pace. Lifestealer taken out by Sin5, Ursa removed next. I mean, of course, they want to make sure they protect the Tombstone by banning these two heroes out. But now it also opens up options for more active heroes to be played, right? I'm imagining that they might decide to pick up a Tidehunter, for example. We haven't seen the hero being grabbed just yet. The last time we saw Sin5 play Spirit Breaker, they played the offlane Spirit Breaker for Chosen One. I don't know if they want to do a similar thing again here, but they could decide, like, run it as 4, run it as 3. We can decide later. Just it depends on what heroes we feel are good for the draft. And that's one thing I like about both teams is both of them have demonstrated the ability to pick a hero first and decide exactly what the hero is going to do later. And I think that's the hallmark of the teams that are able to elevate themselves from a sort of tier 2-ish capacity a little bit higher, is the ability to understand how to flex a hero without putting yourself in a situation where, well, we've picked it and now we're demoting it to support, you know, and then the hero does nothing. They know how to use it when they change the idea of how it's supposed to be playing out.
I mean, it's also one of these things you really have to back those kind of decisions. I mean, you made a little point there about, like, demoting a hero or something. I don't feel this is the space where you should ever consider demotion, right? Because this is setting the precedent. Like, you can lose this game and go on to win a series, right? But perhaps in these kind of environments, it's better to terrify your opponents. Like, don't let them have that, right? Even if it's not the winning pick, because, you know, this is a BO3, but again, this is so much bigger than a BO3 because it's going to lead into a potential BO5, and it's very possible that you're going to play against this exact same thing, and you want to set a precedent of what you have to worry about. You're going to follow up with a Jakiro. I'm a big fan of Jakiro. I like the fact that, again, it's a very tanky hero that, like, I think gets into your face. He doesn't like to be passive in lane. He wants to hit you with that dual breath, hit you with that liquid fire. Great disable as well that I think scales throughout the entire game. So nice pick of them, but that's nice. Oof. Just for the fun of it. Like, it's not even necessary that it's the greatest pick ever. I mean, this Makapai is great. Sakuchi's a great spell to steal with Rubik. It makes him able to jump in and out of fights, get that extra Fade Bolt, or follow up, and more importantly, catch somebody out, right? And alongside Telekinesis, it's an amazing spell. But more so, I think that's exactly what we're talking about. You set the pace. You're saying that, okay, we're saying that we have key heroes that will crush you, and it's not going to be bigger than that. Have a Tinker, Energy. Yeah. How do you feel about that one?
Castaway Tinker in the mid lane coming out here in a game where right now Energy Esports don't actually have that much reach. Like, we already have the support duo, so neither of these heroes like to buy Blink Dagger. It's not like a Lion, for example. Weaver sure can try run down Tinker, but you can't prevent him from just TPing out in front of your face, right? Doesn't really worry about it. I was actually about to bring this up. Shout out to Energy Esports for picking it first. That now you're in a situation where if you don't pick Spectre, literally right now, you are 100% certain it's going to get banned. And then you
That's a
don't
good
have
call.
an easy way to reach the Tinker. But at the same time, there's no way that Sinister 5 weren't aware of the fact that the Spectre pick was the likeliest hero to emerge from the side of Energy Esports to deal with the situation. So now you already have the Spectre matchup. You know what you're going to be going into. You can now try and configure the rest of the draft to make sure that the Spectre pretty much doesn't have a game. And because Tinker tends to take over the game by himself, right? You don't have to play like a traditional carry in the safe lane anymore. We could see like a Razor, for example, could easily emerge here just to be able to make sure that you lock down the Spectre at all times. At all times. Never allowed to actually have a fun game of Dota 2. As soon as it shows up, sap away its damage. I mean, they could potentially go at the very end of this draft for like some faceless void or something just to make sure you always have that lockdown against this hero. Hell, I could even imagine them being like, you know what? Okay, to be fair, Lifestealer's gone from the draft. It's a little bit unfortunate. Good ban earlier. But I could easily see them being like, you know what? We're going to pick like some Slog or some Morphling. Just a hero that its entire job is just to find Spectre and force Spectre to have an uncomfortable time in the fight. And we don't have to actually kill her because Tinker will be killing everybody else. So provided we can protect the Tinker, which there's nobody else who can really affect him right now, then we automatically pretty much win every single other fight because he has so much protection between the Undying and the Spirit Breaker already.
You know, that's actually a really good point as well, is that like there's a lot of these like weird kind of like vision heroes in a way, like in the sense that like Spectre gives you vision, Weaver gives you, Night Stalker gives you vision. So I think that with having this kind of opportunities to get information on your opponents, that's a great opportunity for Energy to abuse the fact that although Sinister 5 have the Spirit Breaker, which does the same thing, they have a key element there that they can use to their advantage. And I must admit, I've played this lineup on competitive Dota, being a Spectre playing up against a Tinker, and life's hard. Like, you think that you have answers, but you don't, because the problem is this hero gets on top of you. You can't blink out anymore. You use your laser to try and resolve the situation. You try to rearm so you can laser again and blink out. But as soon as this hero has mana to sell up, it deletes you. It deletes you even in level 16 ultis or level, like, you can't get through that kind of pure desolate damage that it does. So I think the vision game here is going to be super important for both teams. And I think that almost puts more pressure on Sinister 5 Spirit Breaker to make sure that they're somehow getting key information out from that charge.
Absolutely, because if you are able to control the vision, so you have the Undying as well that can help out in that regard. But you do that, and then suddenly Energy Esports can't play with this Night Stalker, can't play with this Weaver. Then you're forced into these weird situations where you're sort of using Haunts just as a scouting tool to try and gain information on the enemy team. And speaking of Haunts, actually, look at Energy's last ban. I was thinking that this actually might be the hero. I'm glad they banned this Morphling out. It would have been very problematic for them to deal with from the safe lane. So now Sin 5, what do we have here? We need to be able to control vision. We need to be able to fight into Spectre. I think probably being able to fight into Spectre is the most important thing. So, stop it, guys. Let me talk. Jeez, I feel so sad now. Like, more than once, I was like, oh yeah, this might be a good hero. They'll go for the Troll here. Great hero for being able to fight into the Spectre, but crucially, this is a hero that does two things for you. It can fight into Spectre early on, but it can also scale very well into the game. Spectre, no matter how farm she is, kind of has a hard time being able to fight, like, just chest out directly against the Troll Warlord. So, provided that they manage to keep, like, general parity on farm, the Troll into Spectre matchup 1v1, Troll wins that. Spectre's better against the entire rest of the team, but I'm looking at the rest of the Sin 5 team, and outside of the Rubik and Tinker, everyone else is so beefy. It's not that easy to be able to bring these heroes down. So there's going to be several opportunities, several bites at the cherry to try and find Spectre, give Troll the time to catch up, and just right-click her down. Because it is actually possible if you get the farm that you need on this hero.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how I feel about that. Like, Spectre versus Troll, right? It's like, Spectre destroys your team, right? But you're up against like a super late game. Oh, that's an Alistan Park. I mean, he's good at this here. I was going to say, though, like, I feel like the super late game, it's weird because I don't like Undying, but the other four scale really well. Like, so Rubik's actually surprisingly good in the late game in the sense that it can adapt to what's going on around it, and it just does a lot. But Spectre is also one of those, like, I just delete your team, right? Like, it's such a hard hero to deal with. I actually think this has been set up perfectly in a way because, in my mind, this game is going to be gravitational towards Castaway and Adastam's heroes. Having Castaway and Tinker that has such a huge impact, such a powerful late game hero, versus Adastam, who's playing this hero that's actually more like early to mid game centered, where it's more about controlling the pace of the game for a long period of time, which will enable his Spectre to reach those points where it can just decimate his entire opposing side, is going to be so cool. And we spoke about it going into this, about how important those two players are. I think it's even more so for Adastam because, again, like, I think there's a lot going on for Sinister 5 in the form of, like, you can rely on Schlinks to give you a winning game, right? Like, he's going to win Dota games for you. And although I wouldn't say that Energy doesn't have the exact same answer on every single one of their players, I just think it's been more consistently the case on players like Grove, Schlinks, and I think they're going to do the exact same thing behind Castaway, which means I think that role that Adastam's filling of the tempo space creator on that puck is going to be a, if there's your anime moment, right? If this puck goes crazy, and that's how you know that this was meant to be. But anyways, let's take a moment because, ladies and gentlemen, it is that moment. It is that opportunity to enjoy one of the most fascinating and brilliant games of Dota that you're going to see all year, that you've seen all year. Forget TI, forget everything that's come before. There is only this game right now, and this game's going to be that damn good. Ladies and gentlemen, Sinister 5 versus Energy. Winner books themselves an opportunity in the grandest of finals of EGL 1, and it is going to be a killer of a game. Snare, let's just dissect this one last time. So, if you had to base this on drafts alone, who are you backing here? I mean, may I also, to your credit, say that you've been really good at making the calls tonight on picks and selections. Which is the team that you think is going to pull ahead?
I think this game is... I think the draft is like 55-45 in favor of Sin 5. Actually, no, it's a bit more. It's like 60-40. The main thing is that Sin 5 just have a much easier draft to play out. A lot has to go right for Energy Esports. They need to be able to get a good start on Adastam. Adastam needs to itemize correctly because there's going to be a period of the game once the laning phase breaks down where they're going to absolutely require him to make rotations and help out these side lanes. Top lane might not need that much help where Deppy is, but Yappa is not going to have fun in his lane. This is going to be miserable times. Laning this Night Stalker into Troll can be a bit of a rough experience at times, and we've seen Deppy on Troll Warlord in particular play a very aggressive style at times. He's of course going to be backed up by Schlinks as well, Undying, running straight into the face of the Night Stalker. I mean, sure, there's going to be help down bottom from Weaver, but there's going to be a limited amount that Soup is like realistically going to be able to do to fully zone back this bottom lane. So it's going to be a rough start for Jappa, which means that Adastam, the first rotation that he makes to the sides, has to go to the lane of the Night Stalker, get the kill there, open up space for Night Stalker to dip back into the jungle, find his levels. Deppy can't be interrupted the whole game. To be fair, it's not that easy for them to bring down the Spectre for a while. So she does have a little bit of safety. They don't have the greatest reach on the side of Sin 5 outside of the Chosen One Spirit Breaker. But this Spirit Breaker also presents major problems. Adastam, anytime he's in vision, potential for a charge, and if he's being charged, suddenly you can't initiate, right? You have to be retreating away from the fight. Yappa, even if he makes the initiation happen, provided Chosen One is nearby, you can interrupt the jump. Once you have Blink Dagger, normally as a Night Stalker, you're like, oh, sweet, this is perfect. I'm just going to blink on a hero, pop the Crippling Fear, and then there's no problems. But you can't really do that against Spirit Breaker. He hits you with the Nether Strike or just charge. It stops you dead in your tracks. You can't go forward anymore. So I think Sinister 5, if we just have a standard game of Dota, they were going to win. But Energy Esports, if they do some amazing things, it's going to require them to like level up and just like, we've seen a lot of these players in the past. When the occasion calls for it, they really rise to it. And we're going to need that to come out of them again if they have any shot of winning here in this game against the side of Sinister 5. Because this draft, especially with this Castaway Tinker, I didn't even talk about the Tinker. Like, think about all the things I mentioned that are problems for Energy Esports, without even mentioning the Castaway Tinker. And then we include his Tinker. Hey! Yeah, it's a rough one. It's a difficult one. So I think Sinister 5 definitely favored. And provided that they don't make any big mistakes this game, I think they're going to come away with this W in game 1.
I got to also take us back in time a moment, is that, obviously a former Sinister 5 player that deserves a lot of love from us is Dota and Die, and one of the ways that he became famous was on his Tinker, right? But the reason I always used to call him a pocket castaway, probably unkind at the time, I'm sure you'll forgive me this late into this game, right? But it was because he had a similar hero pool of heroes that he was super effective with, right? But the hero that he used to impress, well, we all talk about as Enigma now, but he used to be as Tinker, right? And this was one of the heroes that he used to shine on. And there's a reason that I called him Pocket Castaway. And this is one of the heroes I think Castaway can take over a Dota game with. So this is going to be incredibly impactful. But now we have to go a step beyond that. So we've spoken about what the analytics say, but Snare, you're wiser than that. You know more about the Dota, South African Dota scene. And you have a heart too. So let's go there. Where's your heart at with this one?
Listen, man. Since when this new Sin 5 formed, I was like, oh, this seemed like a very good team, Castaway trying this off-lane situation, whatever. It was nice, it was cool, and I respected the attempts that all the players were making. But I remember I was once actually having a conversation. This was when they still had Chosen on the safe lane. Yeah. And I was talking to Not a
For like
Hero.
a week, which was crazy, and then they won, right?
And they won, right? And I was saying to him, I was like, as much as this team is really good, I feel like the types of playstyles that they have sort of necessitate them to change roles, right? A lot of them, like MD, it's much better that he's playing the safe lane. Come on, you're not an off lane player, not really a mid player. You farm a lot. Go for it. Castaway, what were you doing in the off lane, bro? Get farm. Go take over the whole game. Chosen One. I despair about the fact that it took him this long to figure out that playing an off lane hero where he can just run at people the whole game really would suit his skill set. So my heart, since the game I saw this, right? I've been bugging. I've been going crazy. I've been like, yo, this Sin 5 squad is incredible. It's amazing. Honestly, like, it would take Dota and Die himself being on Energy Esports or being against Sin 5, right? That's the only time I'm ever going to bet against this team. Only because Dota and Die is my boy. I'm super biased in his favor, but any other time, Sin 5 has my heart, they have my brain, and they have my spirit, and I'm going to give it to them, and they're going to get this Tinker victory, bro.
Okay, I mean it's gonna be hard to beat that, but I do think I have to back the anyway power up thing here. So I'm gonna go with Adastum. I'm gonna say that I think that this year is supposed to be the Adastum year. I think that this is a player that has shone amongst other individuals a long time. And although I think that my fear with the draft is that I think that it's so important that you have this one player who just absolutely takes over the game. I do think that if Adastum struggles in this matchup, and of course, what's going to happen, by the way, mark my words, that like what actually happens when casters say things like this is that like Adastum has a terrible game, but like Juppa like just lights off the map, and then all of a sudden it's the Juppa story. But I think statistically, I would be willing to put my cryptocurrency on the fact that Adastum is going to be the one who has to play really well in order for him to win. But hey, let's let the players decide that. We're going to go straight back into this one. The game goes live, and again, if you are just tuning in, you are tuning in to the best possible thing you could have done this evening. Energy Esports versus Sinister 5. Game 1 of the upper bracket finals between these two titans of South African esports. And I'm going to warn you, one last time, you want to just hit that Windows key for a moment, right? You'll see you'll pop up this lovely little toolbar at the bottom of your screen, right? And the bottom right, you'll see this little sound indicator. You want to turn it down by about 10% because we aren't going to be soft. We aren't going to keep things cool. This is not going to be one of those occasions. My neighbors are going to be so upset with me. Vicious emails making its way towards me. The custodians of this complex are going to send me ruthlessly bad messages about keeping people up at night, but it's going to happen, and it's coming through your headset in just a moment. Let's go.
Let's do it. And if we're gonna have a celebratory cause for our men's being out here, might as well kick that out of your house while we're doing it. So
I have to come live in your sofa soon. I'll be around in about you don't say too far, probably about an hour or so. I'll be arriving.
We are prepared. Who's also prepared? Energy Esports, man. Look what Soup's already done. Made the Sakuchi run deep here into the small camp, blocks it out. Schlinks is not aware of this at all, and because Soup is not sitting with any wards in his inventory, Schlinks was not going to be aware of the fact that this camp has been blocked until they spawn. So at the very least, we'll prevent the initial pull. That's going to be quite nice for this lane, and they definitely need this. Yappa does not want to play a standard lane here against the Deppy Troll plus Undying. Gosh, yo, my Night Stalker players in chat, please let me know how depressed you are just to see this matchup.
It's weird, right? Because I think as well, like Soup and Jappa, they're playing heroes that generally dominate these kind of lanes. They're supposed to be the bullies in this story, but I don't know if they are anymore. I mean, they're taking a lot of pressure from the Undying. Obviously, Shling's going to be just tanking himself up, particularly bad against the Night Stalker. But the Weaver also doesn't like it because he already has a low HP pool. So, I mean, the man's hit by 1 DK. He's sitting on 400 HP. Like,
That's
doesn't
not
feel
fun.
good. Doesn't feel good. You're a creep. I mean, actually, hold on. The creeps have more HP than Soup. That is the problem. That is not cool. That's really funny. But okay, so that's obviously going to be a very entertaining one. Let's talk a little bit about mid. Actually, no, we're going to say the best for last. That's going to be so important. Yeah, we're on the same page. Good. So Chosen One on this top lane Spirit Break and Grove in the bottom lane on the Rubik. How are we feeling about this one?
This is one of these lanes where it's fine. Deppy's gonna get all the farm that he needs to. There's not much pressure that they can really put onto the Spectre here. You know, Spirit Breaker, Rubik, not necessarily heroes that you think about when you think about massive damage and harass in the laning phase. So the objective here for them is just gonna be get Chosen One levels. If he gets as many levels as possible, he can be a massively disruptive force as the game scales. And the one really annoying thing about the Spirit Breaker hero when you do play it as a core is you're heavily reliant on your laning phase because you do not spend a large portion of the game farming, nor are you very good at it. So this is kind of your only opportunity to get uninterrupted gold for yourself. And I think they're going to relish that by not even... You can see how they're playing. Like, they're not even bothering with harass and fighting. They're more concerned with making sure Chosen gets as much CS now while he can't get it because these opportunities will dry up massively later.
I also say as well that this is an individual that deserves a little bit of credit. He's a very old school Dota player. And in a way, like, I always had the most fitting nickname because... and forgive me, Dota fanatics, but he was always Scant's Chosen One, right? Like, this was something that Scant always thought was like this unbelievably, and in fact, well, he might be getting first blood here. He's got a lot of damage down to Deppy early on. The telekinesis was good, but it looks like he's going to be able to limp this one off. There's 4 seconds on the Faber. Grove's interested, but he's going to have to respect it, and maybe not the healing salves, because he has absolutely no respect for that. Ends that very, very quickly, but good damage up. But as I was saying, Chosen One was always Scan's Chosen One. He was a person that was beloved by, obviously, an individual who was, a villain. I can't remember if Scant wore glasses, but you know... He's a villain in the glasses.
He wore glasses at a point, yeah. He wore glasses like when he was about to dumpster you. Then it's like, alright, the glasses are coming down.
Okay, cool, I'll go with that. So obviously Scan, very old school Dota 1 player who transitioned. I think he ended up winning like the second incarnation of like our big event at the time. So he was like a very well known player for those who don't know. And he loved Chosen One. And I think he was in credit to Scan, he was like the only one who did. Like, I don't think anybody else in that time really spoke about Chosen One as like a top competitor. But here he is, you know, close on 10 years later, still, you know, playing in the top echelon of Dota 2. And this is on the back of just casually stopping for a couple of years. So obviously a great Dota player. And I think something you have to be like wary of, because I think he is like a cerebral assassin. I think this is the kind of guy that will beat you before you ever, you know, hits his last creep. You know, it's like, or his first creep. So bear in mind, there's something you gotta watch.
Absolutely. And speaking of things we have to watch, you know, now time to take a peek at this mid lane matchup. Castaway and Adestam. The two of them going head to head. In the situation, the matchup is favored towards the Tinker. Although, of course, Puck has many tools to be able to farm up for himself. But Tinker, kind of an oppressive mid lane hero whenever you do see it played without like natural counters emerging. So Castaway is, of course, going to get himself ahead. It's also really annoying to be playing into laser, but Puck, one of the few heroes that can still get the range creep no matter what, so we see that he's gold, he is getting it, still going to be able to farm these side camps. They didn't block it off, so it does feel like Adestam is not happy about the matchup. He doesn't mind. He's like, whatever, it's pretty much a wash, and I'm still going to get my levels, I'm still going to be able to rotate in good stead. And did he buy double null tally? Yeah, he did. So we're going to have a mass damage strat from him, so we're definitely looking for early aggression from that side. And TKC might die top though.
So TKC look likely to be your first blood here. Chosen One running him down. He's got this healing salve, but is there enough damage in the tank? Chosen One, 4 seconds off that charge. Gets off the Fey Bolt from the Grove Rubik, and that'll be enough. First blood is there. Chosen One ends the job, and he started this early on the spec. They probably would have preferred that. That was a big investment. But bottom lane, more importantly, they actually bring down the Troll Warlord. But Jumper, he's staying his ground up against Slinks. Really happy to go toe-to-toe. In comes Castaway. Can they make something of this? At the moment, Slinks trying to keep them interested. This is bait. Slinks is running straight at him, but they don't know that Castaway is in the surrounds. And in the end, this works out beautifully for them. The fact that Castaway hasn't been able to get involved in this kill means that he is wasting precious time that Adestam will lap up. I mean, here this man is sitting mid lane like, it's time to right-click this creep wave. Watch him go. He's going to illusionary orb. He's going to bring this down as quickly as possible. Try to put pressure on this tower with the siege creep up, but Castaway doesn't waste too much time. He's going to make his way into the mid lane instead.
Yeah, he does return quickly back into the fold, but the fact that he had to still come back, he wasted a lot of time. that was time that Adestam got level 6 off of. So Puck definitely very happy with the failed rotation. And I'm also shocked personally that they actually found that kill on Deppy. That should just, honestly, in my opinion, that should never happen in this lane. But Yappa and Soup find a way to be able to exploit Deppy in a negative situation. They got the swarm bug out onto him, chowing down a lot of this mana. It is nighttime as well, and Yappa did put the 2 points into Hunter in the night. So the early harass did come out. Very well played, and we're seeing also Yappa, I must say, when I first saw him emerge onto the scene, I'll admit that I wasn't impressed. For a long time I wasn't impressed by this guy, but he's proven me wrong. Shown me that, you know, tenacity and perseverance sometimes can overwhelm just sheer outright skill, and he's gotten very, very good, understands this game, and understands the offlane in particular very, very well, as evidenced by getting a kill in... this matchup is not favorable. Like, go play Night Stalker into these heroes, and then come back and we'll talk about just how impressive it is that Yappa's getting this good of a start.
I just want to say, I kind of feel like it's your potty trick though. Like, I recall you, I think it was a Naga Siren game. You didn't like Naga Siren or something like that.
Oh god.
And then RDK won a game on the back of a Naga Siren. Or was it Winter Wyvern? Oh, it was a Winter Wyvern!
It was Winter Wyvern, yeah, at the tournament. I was talking trash about Winter Wyvern the whole tournament, and then they went with it in the finals. They picked it every game, and then they won every game. It was very annoying. I was very sad.
It kind of feels like if you don't like something, it's probably worth not liking. But if you hate something, or you really don't have any faith in it, then it's probably, yeah, it's time to double down on whether or not, like that, on the positive of it. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I spent all of 2019 talking about how OG is the worst team ever. Fluke TI, they'll never be able to get that far in a tournament again. We have rough history. As we see in the top lane, Adestam, looking like you wanted to make the first rotation of the map, but, you know, awkward place to show up to. It's very difficult to get this kill. Very beefy hero Spirit Breaker, even pre-level 6. And I think they maybe just brought Adestam to help clear out the stack, but somewhat of an awkward move from this Puck, because it now, I mean, on the bright side, it's not like Tinker spends most of his time in the lane anyway. He's going to be moving up and down the map, so you're not losing too much on the advantage there, but it does feel like Energy Esports wanted to be able to make something happen and are a bit upset they're not going to find anything. At least not yet. Deppy might die here, though.
I mean, again, this Troll Warlord, it's a hero that you really want to be killing it, and right now, he's the one being brought down, and it looks like they're not done with it just yet. Chose one, forced to TP out. They're trying to lay into him, but he's able to escape. Only just sitting at probably about 200 HP, even less by the time he was able to TP out. But the big thing there is bring down that Troll. And admittedly, Energy also pick up a little bit of extra value because they bring down the Tombstone in the bottom lane, which is some nice farm for Jappa as well.
Yep.
They're looking pretty healthy early on, 1k lead.
Dude, this early game is amazing for them. They got that kill. They also cleared out the stack as well. Like, he couldn't finish it off. Deppy, he was trying to kill it, but they stole it away while they took his life. Chosen One came in, got forced back immediately. And we have to consider that that was the first usage of Haunts in the game. Nothing is sadder when you're playing Spectre than when you use the first Haunts to no avail, but in this situation, not only is it to amazing avail, but to be involved in a kill onto the opposing carry hero, incredible. You immediately get back into the lane, you're back to farming, your top lane is very, very protected, very high HP. And bottom, they keep having to bring the Tinker here to push out this wave, because whenever he's not around, it's just so easy for Yappa to play into this. He's at a point now where Slinks can't really deal with him by himself. And this early game for Energy Esports, in several parts of the map, it's not just 1 or 2 lanes, but it's pretty much everywhere where they've come away with victories. So Sinister 5 definitely feeling to themselves that they have to try and make something happen. As we see Chosen One trying to charge Yappa bottom, but he has to cancel it. And I was talking earlier on about how they need an amazing game from Energy and an amazing start. And this is the kind of start that will get you the W in this kind of situation. And also, the itemization. Look at Adestam. Adestam knows how to play Dota. Is he going to play?
He's hurting though. But in comes Chosen One, beating down Soup. He's going to be able to Sakuchi away. But it's getting close. It's getting close, Snare. We're going to see this explode in a moment. Adestam healing up at the moment, but you can see the anger. It's starting to build, and we're going to see these two sides go pretty mental in just a moment. I feel like we're on that precipice. Like, it's going to speed up. Right now, it's a slow game of Dota. It's calculated. Yeah. But this Spirit Breaker is going to want to start running around. This Tinker is going to want to start exploding people. Of course, Adestam, he is so close to that Blink Dagger. Take a look. 1900 gold at the moment. And when he gets that Blink, you're going to see explosions. Bottom lane, Yappa in trouble at the moment. Being run down. Beautiful Ice Path comes in. The missile, sorry enough. Castaway gets the double kill. And that's pretty handy. Both of them dying. And TKC coming to join the fray.
Sigh. They get the double kill there for Castaway. That's the worst case scenario. It's one thing to just lose the heroes themselves, but the fact that the kills go over to the most important hero on the enemy team. I mean, we see immediately afterwards, right, that he leapfrogs Spectre, Night Stalker, and the Puck to take pole position on the net worth chart now suddenly. Got his own Blink Dagger. Yes, Adestam is building Blink, and I'm ecstatic about the fact that Adam is building Blink. Like, it would have been so
top
bad.
lane there. What is there something in this? The drink got there. He gets him, Adestam. Goes in, catches out the Troll Warlord. There might be more to this, so they're bringing the support, but the TP support coming in from the side of Sinister 5. Stinks is there. Troll's still alive. He's still going. He's still standing. Wolf finally go down. Can Stinks make something of it? Looks like he might just be another victim, but Chosen One on the back line hits onto Soup. Hits with the nether strikes. Well, the magic damage is there from Castaway, just tossing through the missiles. And that is 2 for 1, but it is a core and a support for just the support. Energy take a lick of a win there.
Oof, they take it a massive win. MD goes down yet again. Devin once more involved in the kill, but this time around, he's the one that actually gets it. A double kill ultimately for the Spectre. And Spectre off to a good start. You know, traditionally, this is always the hero you start to be concerned about 25, 30 minutes into the game. If she's already starting to become a problem right now, Falcon Blade is up, Yasha is about to be complete once this camp ends up dying. And Deppy is just looking electric right now with this hero. In fact, like, the game's going so well, Adestam changed his mind. He's like, well, I could buy this Blink right now, but we're finding these fights anyway. I'm still gonna go for the Blink, but I might as well get these BTs, allow me to farm the map better and faster. But not only farm the map better and faster, also helps us to be able to close down and close in on Castaway. If we do find him in odd areas of the map, I would be looking towards Energy Esports after they get this Blink Dagger and they pick the tier 1 towers. We're gonna start seeing these rat traps all across the map to try and make sure that they always have vision of where the Tinker is. And between having the Blink BTs on Adestam as well as having the eventual Blink on Yappa, which is gonna come now, he's already got the Echo Saber, so he's gonna farm that very, very quickly. Suddenly, this hero that pretty much has zero catch and has full freedom to move around won't have that same freedom anymore and will always be getting chased down, caught out, and being put into deadly situations. So Castaway gonna have to play very carefully from here on out going forward.
Those beautiful chess matches that we enjoy, but it is, again, like, you can see that these guys are, they're not patient anymore. They've been patient. It's been a slow game of though. They've been building up to these Blink Daggers, these level 1 core items. That Aston actually went for the BOTs, I think, as you mentioned, Snare, but he's almost caught up for that Blink Dagger as well. So he's ready to rumble, he's ready to go, and the smoke's up from Energy. They're going towards the mid lane. They got Deppy there. He's trying to bait things out. They want this tier 1 tower. Sinister 5, however, they're cool. They're going to take this tier 1 top. You want a mid, we'll take your safe lane. That's fine. But again, there's only so many moves you can make before inevitably these two sides are going to clash head to head.
Yeah. But they're fine with the trade though. Energy, they're going to get the mid tower tier 1. They still have their own one. They actually might even defend top lane. Look who's coming top. Soup. Looking for the swarm bugs, gets them out. But no one else is here fast enough, so they have to let this one go. But they're okay with it, right? Because they already got the opposing tier 1. And trading tier 1 top for tier 1 middle definitely favors the team that gets mid. But Yappa might die in the top lane.
Yeah, he likes this. He wants a piece of this Night Stalker, and he's just bouncing him around. In comes Castaway. Take that again. This man, 4-0-0. He has 4 of the 5 kills so far for Sinister 5. And if you wanted to see the man shine, he is definitely keen to make sure that this is the case this game. It asked him, he's still farming here, but what he doesn't know is that Sinister 5 haven't backed off just yet. They're still creeping around here. Is he enough for them though? Looks like it might be. Castaway starts to TP back, but there is a charge coming in. Where is it going? It's going towards the mid lane. There's nothing to TP to there. It's just Soup. Unlikely this will result with much. Takuchi gets tossed down before the connection. That means that Chosen One, well, he can enjoy the company of the creep wave at least.
Yeah, there's no smoke, or there's no dust rather that's sitting on him. There was a sentry ward plopped down in the river, but not going to be enough to give the effective reveal needed to kill this Weaver. And that top fight, what's really funny is that Castaway, although he gets the big kill coming out onto Yappa, he is super lucky that Adestam doesn't have Blink Dagger. If Adam had Blink there, Castaway would have been 100% be dead. He was very far forward, but he was exploiting the fact that this puck lacked the mobility to make the effective counterplay. And this is what Dota's all about sometimes, right? Not just recognizing where you are in the game, but recognizing where your opponent is and how to play around them and say, well, I can make more aggressive moves in the window before my enemy can counterplay me. Once my enemy can counterplay me, I guarantee Castaway will never blink that far forward in a fight for a long, long time unless he has pitch perfect vision of where Adestam is in the engagement. So right now, things are starting to heat up, especially because Sinister 5 are starting to realize that they need this tier 1 tower middle. They need to open up the space on the map and not allow the Spectre to farm as freely as he is, because as much as Castaway is getting a lot out of this game, and he's getting a whole lot, ultimately it can still just take a single horn to kill you if the Spectre gets adequately farmed. So they need to try and do something, either to try and force the Spectre into a bad position where she's not getting this much farm, or to at least try to recoup some of the map pressure that they've lost here against Energy. And what a time-lapse middle from Soup. I thought he was dead for sure. What a player.
The power of R. It doesn't suck when you have the kind of capacity, but the smoke up coming from Energy Esports, they're going to keep moving towards the mid lane. They're still interested in this fight, and Energy, they're going to meet Castaway there too, because they're bringing absolutely everybody. In comes the Magic Missile again, to be the rockets from the Tinker.
Here comes Adam.
And on the back lines, Chosen One, he's trying to play around the Night Stalker, but this fight is a little bit frantic on the front lines. We have Stinks. He's fighting in the front lines. He's going to go up to a Chosen One, Deppy. The damage good onto Stinks. They'll finish him off, but keep an eye on the Troll Warlord, because he's going literally mental. And now Alistam and Jumper have an opportunity to return to fire. They're going to toss out the Void. Grove, he's there. They're protecting the high ground. In comes the Spirit Break. He backs off, chooses against it. But in comes it Astam again. Goes in aggressively onto Grove. And Grove finished off by the Illusion Orb. Had a moment of hope. But that is 4-0. Energy Esports. They wiped the floor with Sinister 5. And that was a fight that they picked.
Ooh. What a rough engagement there. They ended up breaking themselves up into too many separate pieces in that engagement at first. They had the Troll with Undying here in the mid lane. The Tinker was very far afield on the other side of the fight. Chosen One wasn't really positioned to charge well or to use Nether Strike in a positive position. They get Dream Coil, the Horns comes in, and they get into this really awkward position, right, where Battle Trance gets popped by the Troll Warlord in a situation where it drags him so far away from where the rest of the fight is and isolates him in the river. And at that point, everybody has to try and flee, but everybody's caught in two minds, right? Do we just run heads up, or do we do our best to try and at least keep the Troll Warlord alive, because we can't really afford to lose him? And it took them a while to bring him down, but they had the ability to keep that fight going from the side of Energy Esports. Nobody has, outside of the Haunts, that's the only like massive cooldown that they're really dealing with. Everything else comes back up very, very quickly, so they kept spamming out all of these spells. Sinister 5 unable to deal with it, and in large measure, unfortunately, Chosen One, you know, can't really buy util items for his team in this situation, and in these early skirmishes, Energy Esports is always going to be favored in these kind of situations. And we were speaking about it in the draft, right, that the Spectre much better against the whole team than Troll is against a single hero, and we saw it there. The moment he presses R, Deppy, with the amount of farm that he has, a lot of these heroes just can't really easily participate in the fight, just for lack of damage, lack of presence. Massive situation, and Deppy now has Aghanim Scepter, so Shadow Step already online pre-20 minutes here for the Spec.
Yeah, I think this has been a very slow game, which probably favors something like a Spec. I mean, he's happy with things being quiet. Like, don't you worry, guys. Like, on my axe, on my yash up, I'm ready to go. Like, how late do you want to go? You want to go 60 minutes? No problem. I have more than enough item slots. Bottom lane, looks like Alistam, he's going to be able to get away from Nether Strike. Of course, that is still available to him. Chosen One thinking about goes in and Astam, and that'll be more than enough. On the back lines, however, TKC, he's getting a little bit of damage coming in as well, and they're going to be able to bring down the first one. Down goes the Tombstone. Stinks and Co, they're fighting underneath the missiles coming out from the Tinker. In comes the Troll, Jumper and Soup on the back lines, tagging, playing around. TKC and Co, they want this Troll though. They're going to pull him all the way back. And guess what? The Ice Path is beautiful in front of TKC. And now Stinks in trouble. Sip goes in. And this is another fight. They'll go all the way to Energy Esports. Take that, 4-for-1. You take our Dastam. We'll take everything.
Oof. They definitely take everything, giving all of it towards Deppy as well. Another 600 gold for the Spectre in one fight. And once more, we see the effectiveness of Soup. One of the last engagements, he kept things going using time-lapse and the swarm plays. But one underrated thing that we haven't talked about yet, this Spirit Vessel purchase is doing a real number on MD. MD finds himself getting Spirit Vessel, then it's like, crap, okay, what am I supposed to do here, right? I can't go into the Battle Trance. But if I Battle Trance, I just get Spirit Vessel again. I'm not regenerating any of the HP anymore. I'm just sitting dark effectively in these fights. And Sinister 5, I think they're getting way overly aggressive at this early stage of the game. It sort of feels like they are understanding that, look, we're in a sort of desperate situation. If we allow the game to just go passively, then we are starting to fall behind, given how well things are going for Energy Esports right now. Castaway is the only one that's reliably surviving these fights. And in large measure, that's because he's the only one that's been able to farm, right? Everyone else has been spending so much time fighting, involved in skirmishes, that they can't get to these BKBs, for example, for MD, or even to the Echo Saber Ags combination for Chosen One. It's taking so long for these items to emerge that they just frankly don't have the strength in these fights, and they keep picking them. That's the really confusing thing. I don't understand if Energy was the one pushing the envelope, but the last two fights that we've seen Sinister 5 get absolutely wiped are also the two fights that they decided to take.
And that's a very fair point. I mean, they're the one who want this. I mean, they're bringing Castaway in. They're literally, you can see them as, like, just forming around this Tinker. But Energy have played it so well. They're 7k up ahead already, and they're looking good. Hex comes out onto TKC. He's backing off. But even this engagement, this is on support. You kill him, you have to get out now. Super ZA is bringing the reinforcements. It looks like it'll be okay, but they're having to commit hard. Slinks and Co, they want this tier 1, man. They are not backing down.
Yeah, they need to keep pressure, or they need to get some kind of structured advantage on the map, right? Their objective take is fairly poor, unfortunately, unless the troll is the one that's sieging directly. So I might lose Schlinks here. He's dead. Bye-bye.
Yeah,
Wow.
this is isolation at its finest. But again, not a big deal. They're losing just one, but they do want more out of this deal. They're challenging in. Look at Chopper go. This is an angry Dota team, and oh man, I love it.
You know how you know that Jappa's having a good game on Night Stalker? Like, earlier we could tell that Adastam was having an amazing game on Puck when he didn't have to go first blink. He went BTs, then blink, then came back for link. Oh no, they found Spirit Breaker.
Well, this is not ideal, and of course shows one that's a core Spirit Breaker going down the mid lane. And they are really playing with their tails up. There's a lot of aggression. We spoke in the early stages about how the early work that was going to be done was going to be so influential, and right now what it's resulted in is that Adastam as well as their Spectre sitting on the Depi Spectre are the first two highest net worths in the game. Now I don't think Tinker's quite the same as it used to be, because they used to rely a lot more on March the Machines to have the highest farm in the game, but the reality is that he's still a great farmer, and right now this is a bit of a problem for them.
Right now, there's a lot of problems that are present in the game. And one of the big issues, honestly, is lack of BKB on Troll. If once Troll gets BKB, a lot starts to change for the team overall. But it is quite difficult to imagine that they get into a really winning position without this item. They did just finish it with enough gold from one more creep. And the temptation will obviously be there to try and take a fight, but Energy Esports reading the game well, taking this Roshan attempt right now without any counterplay being available from the enemy team. And this is going to give them the Aegis. Depi is going to be in a situation where he's like, I'm very difficult to kill once. Literally no possibility of killing me twice at this stage of the game. And they're going to take a straight up fight for this.
Yeah, Stink's in trouble here. Going to be hit by the illusory orb. It's supposed to be weighing risks, following up by Adastam. Get a nice clean kill onto the Undying. But again, it just feels like everything is going the way that they have intention, or they have the intention of it going. Grove right now being run down as well, but he's got that Gucci, but you gotta be careful because of course the crippling fear is there and they're getting on top of him. It's a dream call for a support, but it's just a testament to how aggressive Energy are playing. They do not care about cooldowns or, you know, saving things for the right target. Right now it's just about pressure, and they are applying. This T1 tower is still standing up. Although they've tried to bring it down, has allowed Soup as well as it has to get on top of this Troll Warlord, and there is damage. The BKB pop, he wants to try to make his way through this, but he's going to be brought down almost certainly right now. Rolled all the way back, and Depi and Co, they'll give him a nice big embrace, the embrace of death, that is.
I wish they tipped him, because that was that's the kind of death that you have to tip your opponent about. Be like, sorry fam, you got caught out trying to siege this tower, and that's the problematic part, right? We spoke a little bit earlier about it, that the only tower push they have for Sinister 5 is Troll being in front of the tower itself. I mean, Tinker can push out these waves, but you don't expect this hero to actually be hitting the building itself. If Troll's not doing it, the building will never fall. He sees a lot of heroes top killing the Rubik, and he's like, well, maybe I can sneakily try and take away this tower. But unfortunately, he can't actually do it yet because he's not strong enough to just pure right-click it. Middle lane, we just see Grove dying again.
Crazy, right? Like, the damage was so quick and instantaneous. They want to bring down Depi. Of course, he does have that Aegis, so even if he goes down here, he's not concerned. He's got a kill. They've got pressure on the map. will keep going, thank you very much. And they're going to go straight on to this tier 2. Energy Esports with their tail up. Bear in mind, the top lane at the moment, at Aston, he's got the POTs, but he's not in this fight right now, so there is a minor delay. Maybe that works for him. The Ice Path, so good from DKC. The Nether Strike is there, though. The damage good to bring down Super. That is just a support. They need to do so much more work. They've lost their tier 2s. Job done. Energy, again, with their tails up here early on in this tournament. Oh, sorry, this grand final of the upper bracket.
Grand final preview, you know?
Yeah.
This is the teaser trailer.
The teaser trailer. I like that.
What's crazy, TKC is actually really good on Jakiro, and it is one of, I think if I'm not mistaken, this is his overall most played hero since he became a support player, vacating this mid lane. And we can see why. We can see why. Pitch perfect ice paths every single time. His understanding of when to use it, not just cavalierly throwing it out in the middle of the fight randomly, but utilizing it on certain targets and comboing and chaining the ice path into other spells from his team, right? Setting up for easy usages of the crippling fear, setting up for the time to be there for Adestam to catch up with Dream Coil. Done so very well. We haven't seen him even be forced into really using Macropire all that much because the team hasn't needed damage. They just need control out of him. You get the slows, you get the stuns, you're just happy. And more so than just his control of the fights in terms of using these ice paths and the dual breaths, his control of the vision around the map. Right now, you know, it's a little bit messed up for me to say this because he only has the one ward out now, but I've been watching his warding most of the game and it's been very, very good. Half the deaths that have happened onto the Troll Warlord have been because of the fact that he's walking directly underneath vision that's been plopped down by the Jakiro. You know, Super's had a lot of freedom as well due to the fact that, you know, TKC is willing to expend so many resources. And oh, look, jump in from Deppy. Jeez. Vision wins games, man. Vision wins games.
Godlike, though. I mean, come on. How much more do you want from somebody playing your Spectre, right? 9-0-6. It's been a slower game. 8-19 for sure. But the reality is that you can't ever look at somebody who's having this kind of performance on a Spectre. He's got all the items up in a beautiful fashion. Most net worth in the game. Hasn't missed a trick. Hasn't died yet. Beautiful stuff yet. But you know what else is great, Snare? Of course, it's giveaways. And we're giving away 250 rand Steam Voucher today. Make sure that you are a staffing resident before you enter. But we'll give you a little bit of info on how to join in just a moment. Of course, bear in mind. But we are breaking out into a fight. Let's go, Schlinks. This is Undying. I don't think that's quite living up to his namesake. He gets brought down early. They're going to lose his career as well. He does just have wards on it, so not a huge loss. But it's going to suck when you're behind to lose those wards. And again, Angie, they're 28 minutes in. They have late game prowess as well in the form of the Spectre. They have, of course, the items that they're looking for, the core items that are going to help them get further into this game. They already have an Ags up onto Adestam. They're looking really good right now. So things are nice and comfy if you're an Energy Esports player. And of course, if you're an Energy Esports fan.
Yep. If you're an Energy fan right now, you are just ecstatic. You might as well go make yourself some coffee. It's going to be a very nice time right now. Basher being built up for Deppy, already has access to Orchid. Gonna stop over for Basher first before coming back to complete the Bloodthorn. But now that you have this Orchid, this is Castaway can't play Dota. That's why you see Castaway immediately queuing BKB. Fully aware of what's going to happen if he doesn't do anything to try and counter out the opposing itemization. And also, speaking of itemization, the Adestam Park went ahead and bought the early Aghanim Scepter here. Well, early relative to the time in the game, but not in his progression on the items. And this makes life so difficult now for this Troll Warlord. You have the BKB, but literally nothing else. So what happens if you get caught with this Axe Dream Coil? You might even see it being committed in the top lane.
I mean, it's a beautiful way to just discourage the uses of BKB. Castaway in trouble in the top lane will go down. Really big pickup as well. Chosen One also on the deck at the moment. It's pretty much picture perfect for the side of Energy Esports. They are absolutely killing it. 30 minutes of the game, 8-20. What?
Yep.
What just happened? Grass, please, Mr. Observer friend. What is going on? I mean, Energy, they're not supposed to roll over Sin 5 like this, but they have a 97% win probability at 30 minutes. They have a 20k net worth lead. They are absolutely destroying one of the most impressive Dota teams we've ever had.
Yep.
I mean, how absurd.
And it's not even close, honestly. Like, the way this game is going right now, they are crazy far ahead. That death, ironically enough, that we saw in the top lane was Castaway's first death. in the entire game, but he's the only person who's actually been allowed to play some semblance of Dota 2 that his hero was picked for. Everybody else has just been shut down time and time again. You know, there's Troll can't do anything now, there's Ags already on the puck. Chosen One just pretty much being kept out of being able to participate in this game, given just how much early damage that they found themselves having on the side of Energy Esports. And of course, Castaway, you know, there's very limited things you can do by yourself. You know, gone are the days where this Tinker is an automatic win condition, provided he doesn't die for a long enough portion of the game. And not only are long gone those days, but the one hero that prevents those days from being possible now has Basher, will almost have Abyssal Blade, and will be effectively able to guarantee kills onto Tinker, because he has Zags. You know, you Shadow Step, Abyssal, Manta, Tinker's 100% dead 100% of the time, and there's literally no counterplay available for this hero. And it does feel like at this point, Sinister 5 are sort of scratching their heads about what to do. Because it feels like their only idea is like, alright guys, let's group up and just try force a fight, but how do we initiate? We don't really know. Whoever's available, Chosen One, charge them. You know, we'll try and make something happen from there, but it's quite difficult to do anything because these heroes have also gotten really tanky. Aeon Disc up for Adastam right now. Spectre, Night Stalker is Night Stalker with BKB, Echo Saber, and Blink.
Oh, that's caught out there and dying again. He's able to TP out though. That is pretty clutch. Just like Glimmer Cape, but Yappo was on that. He was super keen to pick this up, but there's a bit of adventuring happening here from Grove. He's going to be able to blink away, so this is that blink tower form ability. But right now, Energy, they're still showing respect. I mean, they know what they're up against, right? This is not the kind of team we just. Do you remember Flares, Dagon Furions?
Yep.
We're not going to see Dagon Flareons. We're going to see a Dagon Spectre. Maybe a Dagon Puck. I think that's still possible. Because he's also going for the Ghost Scepter and, of course, the Eagle Song combination that is the Ethereal Blade. But does he doesn't actually have the spots? He can't. Never mind. Take it back. We won't even see a Dagon for the Puck. Man's farmed.
I mean, he might go Dagon afterwards, but there's no slots. Yeah, you're right. Like, you can eat the Aghanim Scepter, and then that'll open up the space. But then after that...
It never feels good eating an Ag Scepter for a Dagon.
You can do what you want. But he's probably gonna... If he does eat it, he'll eat it for Hex. I think that's gonna be the build-up here for him. Because if you get Hex, Troll's game is over. Castaway's game is, I mean, more over than it already is right now. You know, it's a very difficult situation to be able to come back from. 97% win probability, you know, commensurately means that Sinister 5 only a 3% odds of winning out this. Oh my gosh, Adastab almost found Castaway down bottom. Almost. They don't have the ward up though, so he didn't have the clear vision. But he almost caught him with the Dream Coil. That would have been an easy death with Shadow Step follow up. And it feels like that's the trap, right? All across the map. Where do you play safely? How do you do that? As we see top. What are you supposed to do against this? How do you stop this from happening? Double damage Spectre jumps onto you and then you're dead.
Yeah, it's a really tough matchup. But let's take an opportunity while there's this lull in play just to do the dirty work, that is. If you're watching YouTube, watching gaming, watching Twitch, here's the thing, right? Here at EGL 1, everyone gets an opportunity to win. And of course, tonight, again, it's that 250 Rand Steam Voucher, and we're going to open things up. The keyword tonight, once, only once, not thrice, is EGL, sorry, is Dota 2 ZA. That's your keyword. Dota 2 ZA is going to be the keyword for it tonight. And you enter that in just once, and you have an opportunity to win the 250 Rand Steam Voucher. Yeah, good luck. May the best typist win.
GLHF, ZA, not with an S. Although I've always questioned why we use the Z instead of an S, because I know people will say like the S will be South America, but that's a continent, we're a country, and it's very rare that you use those kind of abbreviations for all the continents.
But Saudi Arabia, actually, that's where I know from a kid, yeah.
Okay.
But I don't know. I think hashtag reclaim the S.
Isn't Saudi? Wouldn't Saudi Arabia be KSA? Because it's a kingdom, most right? So,
I mean, we are RSA, right? So maybe next time we'll do like the RSA opposed to ZA, but you know, for now, Dota 2 ZA.
Yes. Only once. If you do it more than once, unfortunately, you're gonna find yourself in the same position as this Undying. Like, Spectre is just gonna haunt on you and you'll just die. So don't do that. Just type it once, that's all.
You really don't want Deppy visiting you tonight. He's having a great game of Dota. Abyssal Blade, Orchid Malevolence, Aghanim Scepter, and TD Bottle Run.
And an Elven Tunic, dude. How do you get an Elven Tunic on Spectre? Oh, Shadow Step bottom. They found Slinks. Bye-bye. Run again.
Remember when I said someone was dead? I wasn't lying, but the DD is still in the bottle. That's the worst part. Like, this thing is gonna go and break somebody's heart right now. Because how you survive it? I mean, he's already hitting for almost 200 damage without the DD rune. He's gonna be monstrous in just a moment.
Yeah, the Spectre is...
How long does this bottle actually have? Like, I didn't catch when you picked it up, but I'm assuming it was the 20... I mean, it must have been the 24-minute rune, but when he picked it up is relevant, right?
Yeah. I mean, we'll see soon. Probably in the next, like, 30, 45 seconds, it'll probably end up triggering. And they'll probably want to be able to use it. He has Haunt and Shadow Step back online right now. The Bloodthorn literally about to be finished after this camp is taken out. So it would actually be a perfect time to pop a double damage and just go for it on the map. And what sucks right now is that Sinister 5, look at Castaway, right? This is not how Tinker wants to be playing this map. Instead of going into Fountain and TPing out into the lanes, he's just TPing in front of his own tier 3 towers. Just so fearful about what happens if he ventures further than that. Because he's learned from experience what does happen, right? So this is the only safe places that he can find for him to play. Anywhere else, not allowed. And unfortunately, when you can't do that as Tinker, not actually playing Dota, as we see Schlinks, what's actually really sad is that it takes as much time to click onto him as he's dying. By the time you get there with the camera, he's already gone. It's so
I just
sad.
want to point out the creep wave, the neutral creeps next to him died faster than, died slower than he did. He died in a longer period of time than it took to clear the neutral camp. So that's a problem. That is an Undying. It's supposed to be a tanky fella. I mean, he doesn't have great items, to be fair. And this is a sport Undying, but it's crazy to see it go down that fast, that easily. But in comes the March of the Machines. Castaway trying to keep his team's hope alive in game one. Deppy and Cope, they're not as interested. They got an Aegis up. They want to finish the Dota game. Here comes the Techniques again. They're going to toss through a couple of home missiles as well. Make sure that they can try and keep back Energy. And right now it seems like it's working. They're going to back up for the time being. Soup and Co. They're going to back off. These... For a moment, the thing is that this doesn't matter because he's in the side whenever he wants to be. So short and base it is, but he'll be in this fight as long as he wants. Soup comes in aggressively, brings down the wall, but he's going to use the time lapse. He's got 20 second cooldown, but they pull him all the way back. In comes the eye, path onto 2, and this is the death of Soup. But now Jumper pops a BKB. They're going to go toe-to-toe. They're beating down into the Night Stalker. He backs off. The damage isn't quite there for Sinister 5. They've only brought down this wall. Do they want more? Here comes an Aston. I'm going to go for with Illusion Orb. The damage is good. This Troll's getting lively. Fight! He stands and he will go down. Wayne Rifts is enough. He's going to buy back. 2 buybacks in fact. As Chosen One goes in aggressively. Jumper, he's doing some damage, but now he's feeling very lonely. He's waiting for his friends to rejoin, but Deppy, he's bolstered. He has the low orb up on him. He now ends, and now the damage can start coming in again. And Dastum again forward. TKC even on the front lines. You know, pick up the Deppy with telekinesis. He's pulled back. Down goes the Tombstone. Isn't enough to dispel Energy's advantage right now. Maybe Chosen One goes forward. He wants to finish off TKC. Low Sword goes back on. Ice Path all the way back onto the puck, but deep in Jumper goes. He still has this. He wants to go, and now Deppy stands. He's alive, but he has the damage. They're going to finish him off, and Adaston's here in the spirit pot, but he is so ready for this Troll, though, laying into him. The incoming Chosen One Spirit Breaker, able to stun them both out. Ice Pulse flying through, and Aston Illusion comes up, but there's no damage coming out from Deppy. Going to get so many kills out of this. His man is still alive. He is still sitting at 16-0. He just won't die. But Schlinks, the Undying goes down again, and the racks explodes. The racks going down on the back lines. We can see this Spectre wants blood. Chosen One going to bash him away. Telekinesis is there. They're going to try control him, and they do have a nice combination. It's getting range for this mountain. They might just finish him off, but the Ghost Sifter comes up. Deppy alive a little while longer. Chosen wants it. Are you sure you won't though? The Ice Path again from Grip. This is crazy. How many Ice Paths are being tossed up by this Rubik? But it's not enough. The racks have fallen down, and Energy, they're finally going to enjoy this one. Ice Path comes through again. Soup still in it. Adastum, he's there, wants to tag on Chosen One, goes wide of the Ice Path, gets picked up by defensive telekinesis and pulled back. But Deppy, he's still in there. What are you doing? Finally, he gets time-lapsed away. Maybe this chaos will end for a moment.
Ooh. For a moment is all we get. Grove does find a very nice Ice Path, but there's pretty much no follow-up from this. This was such an expensive fight for Sinister. Done it! Come on, Chosen One. What is this? You're not getting these kills, man. Relax. Just take it easy.
He's desperate. He's not willing to give up early on.
If he's going back in though, this is so frustrating to deal with. Between the Shadow Step and having this time lapse on Soup with the Aghanim Scepter, the permanent presence in your base from Deppy, at least they kill Soup this time around.
They've gotten something out of the deal, but it's come to cost their racks. And of course, 35k net worth lead. This is probably about as comfortable as you could possibly ever be against Sinister 5.
Yeah. It's just pain and suffering here. I mean, 4 buybacks were used in that fight by Sin 5 to try and hold their bottom lane of racks. They end up being able to hold the base, thanks in large measure. Like, over a long period of time, we do see that they actually do have enough spell damage to kill a lot of these heroes. Of course, nobody's really felt the need outside of Yappa to buy BKB. Oh, they found Castaway again. Dude, Deppy's just relentless at this point. Any single time he catches even a sniff of where these heroes are at, he's like, cool, I'm going in. Enjoy respawning, my friend. You've already died back, so you're not going to be back anytime soon. And if your team even smokes up to make a play without you, who do they kill? Like, there's no core hero that we really imagine dying, although they're going to try for it here in the mid lane.
Can they make this happen? What a beautiful bit of work from TKC. You're going to push back Deppy back in. He's taking damage. Isn't enough? Troll wall once as he will get it, and the damage is good, but they want a lot more, and Jappa's going to go down too. There's a buyback immediately from the Spectre. Can he use this? Grove and Co. They're happy, but are they happy for long? Deppy comes back in, control him, keep this man away, but Adapters, no! Goes in with the Dream Call, and now Grove in trouble. Grove down, Shrinks, not again, he says, but he will go down again, because guess who? It's a Spectre, but guess what? He comes, shows one by a little bit of time. They're going to lose a couple. They're waiting for Castaway. Come back in, our hero. Can you save the day? And Dasta doesn't want that to happen. Finishes off yet another one, and that Rubik is down for a lifetime of 100 seconds. And again, the tier 3s, the mid lane in trouble.
Woo! That tower, I'm actually kind of surprised that they did manage to get the Deppy kill. He didn't want to pop Manta or Bloodthorn as they were coming onto him. Thought he might be able to tank through everything. Ends up paying the price, but comes back on the second life immediately with the buyback. And they do that because they're like, look, as with the Aegis, kill us once, sure, but kill us twice, impossible. And now this might be the final fight here, Hellbird.
They're going straight back in, and of course, look at the back lines! They managed to pick up one, and there's only 2 men standing for Sinister 5. Make that one! Make that GG! Energy Esports, they're gonna go and take this first matchup here, and are just one step away from an EGL 1 Season 2 final! Sinister 5, your back's against the wall. Can you make it happen? Or does Energy walk straight in there? Don't go anywhere. What a game. Game 1 done. 43 minutes and 14 to 38. Sinister 5 made it interesting, but how good did Energy look there?
They looked phenomenal. Like, there's not enough words of praise actually that I can give towards them. Remember when we were talking at the beginning of the draft, I was saying that I really favor what Sinister 5 is doing. I really favor how they've configured their heroes, how they've configured the lanes. And we sort of went through all the conditions that Energy needed to meet in order to have success in this game. And it was a laundry list of them, Hellbird. A long list of things that needed to happen. And every single one of them, they were like, check, cool. Oh, you want us to be able to somehow come away with the winning lane with against Troll, Undying with Night Stalker? Check. Oh, we need to have the amazing rotations from Adastam the moment he leaves this mid lane. Check. Oh, we need to make sure that Deppy firstly doesn't have a bad lane and gets to keep pace with the farm and is given space to farm in the jungle and easy ways to involve himself in the fights. Check, check, check. Want good items on everybody. Check, check, check. Supports need to do very well. TKC needs to land ice path after ice path. They don't have that much lockdown. So anytime that you have heroes as elusive, say a Tinker, and you don't have adequate lockdown, whoever's playing the skill shot hero needs to be immaculate. And TKC did it today. It's honestly, this was a really solid performance from them, and not just in terms of them as a team, as Energy Esports. They outplayed this draft, they outplayed the Sinister 5 squad, and Energy Esports, they made it look, honestly, they made it look easy. Like, this did not look, they made it look like Sinister 5 is a tier below them, which is markedly different from the tight contest that we've normally seen from these two teams throughout the year. So the fact that Energy Esports leveled up this much in game 1, we don't know if they're going to keep this level up or if Sinister 5 can match them, because we know they can. So that means that game 2 is even more exciting before it even happens, just due to the game 1 stomp. It's going to be awesome.
I totally agree with that. I think that if you think for a moment that this is a sign of things comes, I totally disagree, because game 3, it doesn't feel that far away. Sinister 5, they're a splendid Dota 2 team, and I think that there is every reason in the world to believe that we still have a date with that final matchup here in this upper bracket final. But anyways, guys, I think, yeah, let's take a break. I'm sure you're tired of listening to me scream for a moment, but it's coming back, so sorry. We'll see you shortly for game
Sorry,
2.
not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry. Game 2 of Sinister 5 versus Energy Esports. Just a moment away. Guess who? It's a Spectre, but guess what? He comes shows one by a little bit of time. They're gonna lose a couple. They're waiting for Castaway. Come back in, our hero. Can you save the day? And Dastard doesn't want that to happen. Finishes off yet another one, and that Rubik is down for our life.
And anything, at least not yet. Definitely might die here though.
I try to point and be like, hey, very cool. I guess this one's me. Guys, welcome back. We're going crazy again. Last chance, just 10%. Hit Windows key, turn it down by 10%. I don't know how it works on a Mac if you're watching a Mac or on your app or whatever, but like we're going to be loud. I'm not holding back. Yeah, every kill matters tonight. Sinister Fight versus Energy Esports. Snare, what a pleasure. We were just saying, we've been doing this for so long together, and it's crazy. How do we make it? Are we still here? We're the old toppies.
Listen, we're channeling the spirits of Adestam, you know, that spirit of keep going, never give up, keep grinding, keep going for it. And you know, Adestam didn't give up and eventually was rewarded with titles for himself. You know, we didn't give up and we're rewarded with games like this. You know, we get to be here watching Energy and Sin 5, watching. You know what I really love about matchups like this, right? Is that as much as we talk about what to expect, how are we reliably surprised? Years after the fact, we're still always like, wow, that happened. That was so cool. That was kind of bug. And games like this make ZA Dota. It reminds you of why you fell in love with the game to begin with, right? And I really want to see, personally, because the Sin 5 have players as well who've also been around the block, who've also been there, right? Been in the pits, been in these really tough losses. They also have the mental fortitude to be able to climb out of it. There's a lot of other teams that if you lost that badly game one, it's a guarantee. It's a wrap. 2-0, gonna happen every time. But like you mentioned at the very end of the first game, that doesn't necessarily tell us exactly how the rest of the story is gonna go, right? So we still have a lot more tale to unfold. We still have a lot more Dota to be played. We still have a lot more top tier South Africans to showcase. And we have another draft. It's awesome.
Okay, so what I love is like you always get this moment, right? Because you know, us as the cost, we're just in a lobby. We're just in a regular lobby. There's no the magic is all happening behind the scenes, right? You have your like Kaz and Krim and Wookie that are just making the magic happen. But for us, we're just in the lobby, right? And I love that moment where you see that like flash from both of our faces, where it's like Dota's loading, and it's time to go because it is time to go. And of course, Energy just one beautiful game away from making their way to EGL 1 Season 2 Grand Finals. It's great, but of course, it's Sinister 5 they're up against. One of the greatest assortment of players you could ever have asked for in our scene. I mean, we think back to the legends of Dota, and I want to tell you that both these two teams would probably crush them, right? Like that's the honest truth. That's how good these guys all are. And we are going to have another spectacle. Now, the last game, let's call it as is. Energy, just too damn good, right?
Yeah.
But if you think for a moment that there's a single player in that Discord chat right now, there's a single Sinister 5 player that has doubt that they're going to win this game, you're crazy. Every single one of them believes that they can do it. And I guess I have been fortunate enough in my time in this Dota scene to know what that feels like, to be the team that becomes themselves the favorite. Let's go with that, because I don't know, I think these two sides hard call a favorite between them, but there is a moment where your top player, the guy who always laughs, whatever it might be, that guy just steps up and says, well, we better be make sure we're ready for game 3, because game 2 is going to happen. Snare, let's get stuck in, because this draft's going flying, and there is not a hero's favorite support in the game on the field. Snapfire's made it through, and some interesting selections. Would you be so kind as to take us through the picks and bans?
So Sin 5, of course, this time around, they recognize the threat of the Yappa Night Stalker. They remove it immediately. They're like, nope, sorry, that's not going to happen. Even take out the Undying as well. But this does open up the space, like you mentioned, for the Snapfire. Was banned first overall by Sin 5 in Game 1. It is now available for Energy Esports. So TKC has one of his other very preferred heroes already available for himself. And Energy Esports, there's no reason to change these bans. Honestly, for years, this goes back years. Not a hero who you already mentioned. He will remind you, we bonded over me flaming him for not banning Tree if you're going to play against Grove. Grove's in the game.
He did that.
You ban Tree. That's it. You're done. Just ban Tree. Move on. And your life is going to be okay. What I really do find interesting though, Sin 5, you were talking about how everybody in the server feels very confident that they're going to win, right? And they have the capability of stepping up. Ember Spirit. Now, last game we had Tinker. Of course, Tinker is one of these heroes that has an astonishingly high win rate for how rarely it's picked, but it can lose games, and we just saw a very bad loss because it's not the most adaptable hero if the plan isn't happening, right? The game's going completely off script, kind of difficult to play the Tinker as you would want to. Ember Spirit, kind of the opposite of that right now. This hero can do pretty much everything, right? And there's a reason why if you look at all the mid heroes that get picked, you're going to see lots of Embers, lots of Void Spirits, lots of Pucks, and Castaway. historically, going back a long time, Castaway Ember Spirit, this has always been special. So I'm glad that they even first pick it. This is like that statement of intent that you were talking about. He's like, you know what? We're going to win, y'all. Give me Ember Spirit. Let's win the game. Let's go game 3. Let's make it happen.
So I want to give a little, I have to give it a little clear warning here. So you guys know, like we're in a special time with South African Dota, right? So there's kind of these like ebbs and flows that you have to go through when you have a broadcast. We're supposed to calm things down. So it's not going to happen. The draft is exciting, and it's going to be kept at that tempo all the way through. This is going to be some sort of caffeine-fueled monster of a broadcast that's coming away, because I do believe that's that special. But as you mentioned, Ember Spirit is one of those heroes that you want to see. You want to be Castaway in Ember Spirit. So if you're Energy Esports, you're almost welcoming the challenge, saying, yeah, cool, throw us one of your best. We're going to throw one of our best straight back at you. Let's see whose is better. And I do think that this is another hero that Castaway can win a Dota game off. What I don't like, if I'm totally honest, is an Ogre Magi. Now, this hero isn't bad. Let's be honest. This is a hero that I think is actually pretty good. It's pretty resilient. It has an ability to just create like boons for everybody on your team, but it's boring.
I mean,
no, you don't agree?
Playing Ogre is boring, right? Hey, I don't play Past 5 anymore, so playing Ogre when I used to play that sucked, right? But as a carry player, I love Ogres in my team, man. It's awesome. Like, hey, give me that bloodlust. You know, I need a little bit of Ignite to slow somebody down. I'm imagining that one of the reasons they picked this as well. I can definitely see that whatever hero they get for the safe lane is going to be somebody that receives those kind of buffs. They have the last overall pick, so your Medusas, your Drows, your Lunas are now suddenly in their mind and in the field of vision for them. And we always have that advantage when you have that last pick. You know, some heroes need extra help. Heroes like PA, for example, can't really play Dota without some degree of steroid, and when you have an Ogre, it gives you the option to always have that steroid available, and then you can just decide what hero suits the game best, especially when we're in a situation where Energy Esports went for the immediate counter pick on the Ember Spirit, and if they do play Castaway Ember, probably going to be playing it into Monkey King, and that matchup, oof, that is not fun, not great. And whenever you have that kind of situation, you kind of require the carry player to pick up the slack that's going to be lost in the early game from the Ember into Monkey King matchup. So Energy, I think they'll be able to exploit the fact that there is this Ogre Ember combination and that they won't be able to do as much on the map if they do manage to slow down the Ember in the laning phase, of course.
One thing that I think is that there's an opportunity to run the Monkey King against that Ember mid. If this is a Castaway Ember, you can run something like a Monkey King that just it dominates melee course. I think one of the nice things about Ember is it does always have that ability to backtrack and go just for like a heavy side fist build to kind of win any lane. It seems like just when you're suffering as an Ember, go Slider first, right? Like, that's the way to go. But I do think we'll give them an opportunity to at least apply pressure to it. Again, it would end up being an Adastum Monkey King as well, so you'd expect a lot out of it. So just something that's there in the pool for them already if they do go the way. But you can run the Ember in 1 as well without suffering too much, right? Like, this is still a one-worthy hero that can go that far. So we'll see what they do. But bans otherwise, they're going to get rid of the Spirit Breaker, the Naga Siren, the Wraith King, back to Tide and Doom. So Tide and Doom are big ones for me because more tanky kind of in-your-face heroes that have been shown how good they can be in these kind of aggressive versions of Dota that we're in at the moment. They get in your face, they make life difficult, and Doom in particular, that ulti is broken. Like,
so anointed. It
wins entire Dota games, and that's without a refresher orb. If you end up with something like a Grimstroke in your team or having a refresher orb, like, fights aren't realistic for your opponents. But I love it. Sand King. One day you'll see a tattoo on the arm of a Sand King. So I'm never going to be sad to see it come through. What a beautiful hero.
Yeah, they've got Sand King, they've got some initiation. You never really want to be playing Ember Spirit as the only hero that goes in. You kind of want to be the one that comes in for the cleanup, right? So Sand King can now start the fights for the team. Epicenter always going to be some additional pieces of damage that before they didn't have the most damage in the world. Decent hero in the laning phase as well. And I think also they wanted to make sure that for the Chosen One, in the previous game, he didn't really get to do all that much playing on the Spirit Breaker. At the very least now, well, it's not obvious that he's going to be the one playing the Sand King. It could still be a Grove Sand King, but unlikely. But I think they just want to make sure that he can play something active, because it kind of felt like there was this 20-minute lull last game where they were sort of playing 4v5 because Chosen One couldn't do anything despite his best attempts. At the very least, Sand King is never completely locked out of the game, right? There's always going to be some utility for a Blink Barrel Strike, some utility for that fast initiation, a way to be able to cancel out the Morty's Kisses from afar, a way to be able to find Monkey King, stun him inside the Wukong's command, give your team time to escape the command ring area. So kind of like this, also a solid hero in the laning phase itself. And Energy Esports, honestly, this Nyx hero, I honestly feel Nyx is busted. Every time I've been seeing this hero lately, it's so strong. It's so crazy. The vision control it gives you, they're playing this into Ember Spirits or Spike Carapace as an automatic stun every single time. Spike Carapace also automatically stuns Sand King inside the Sandstorm. You know, Ogre Magi, once you hit level 12 especially, you know, you ignite, you're gonna get yourself stunned. You can't control everywhere that the fire ends up going. So this Nyx would help them out quite a bit. And they go from Nyx into a hero that I absolutely hate, which means it's gonna stomp this game in the Venom Monster. I feel like this hero does nothing, and I'm not really happy that Yappa is gonna be playing it. I feel like this is sort of counter to what I think his playstyle works well and best at. So Sinister 5, I think, will now have an additional opportunity against this Venom Monster, provided that they don't let this hero get too many levels. I mean, sometimes you can just ignore the hero, play elsewhere on the map, and be like, whatever. We can dodge now the event Poison Nova using Snowball, spend a lot of the time of Venomous Gale not really getting ticked out, thanks to the same spell. There's very little mobility now on the side of Energy Esports because of this Venom Monster pick, so I think Sinister 5 are very happy to see that hero because it allows them now to play a little bit faster on the pace, even though they have the 3 melee heroes, which can be a bit dubious against Venom.
That's a really good point as well. I mean, just think about the Monkey King as well. Like, Wukong's command is going to make it incredibly difficult for them to fight into. Even things like Sand King, although they're magic damage healers, they don't rely on right clicks, they still need to be in your face. They still need to drop that Sand Tool and that 8% of the Burrow Strike. Those are all things that they still have to be within the realm of a Wukong's command. So that's going to be really difficult for them to fight into. And what am I saying? In my mind, for whatever reason, I'm thinking 3. They're just melee.
Yeah.
That is a problem.
It's a problem.
That's a problem.
I mean, there's also Impale onto multiple heroes followed by Morty's Kisses, you know, and in my mind, I want to be able to say, we might not see that situation happen that much. It requires a lot of execution. But based on what we saw last game, Energy Esports can pull off some execution that shouldn't make sense. That shouldn't be happening, but somehow they make it happen reliably. So it is worrying, right? And it does now require that Sinister 5 are the ones that play with a higher bar of execution to make sure that they're equivalently spread out, not to get caught out like that in those situations.
They're all good against melee. Like, what? How did this happen? Like, literally every single one of Energy Esports heroes against melee. I often feel that ranged and melee units are something we almost ignore about Dota. We're always talking about, oh yeah, like this hero is really good against this one because it does tech damage and it has a refraction or whatever it might be, right? But so often you see like top class teams just ignore the mechanic of just where you physically need to be on the map. This is hard. This is, in a way, I think Ember Spirit could be considered like a pseudo ranged hero. It basically works in a similar capacity the range hero does, that it's playing from the back and it's not really likely to try to right click you outright at first, but it's brutal. What? Like, just have a faceless void. I mean, if you want to deal with like heroes that are melee and have to fight in one singular position to deal damage, like faceless void is one of the absolute best at doing that, because right now, anything that Sinister 5 can throw at Energy Esports is countered by Faceless Void. This last pick has to be magical. Snare, is anything in this?
Let's see. So options. Puck, Queen of Pain, that has to... but they need a safe laner, right? That's the real problem here. Medusa is still in the game, and you know, you can trigger Stone Gaze before Chronosphere comes out, you know, if you're fast enough on the fingers. Potentially Drow. PA. Alright, I mentioned this earlier when we saw the Ogre, like PA is a hero that can come out, but this is a 4th melee hero that emerges into the scene right now. Technically everybody is, but we'll give Ember Spirit the benefit of the doubt. They're playing this into Chronosphere. PA is one of the better heroes in these kind of situations, but she needs a lot of help. And she's not playing this into an easy game, right? Even if she does have the physical damage necessary to help contend with Monkey King and Faceless Void, which is difficult proposition. One hero has Time Walk, you don't have that many stuns on your team to quickly burst them down. The other hero gains armor and Wukongs. There's still so much magic damage that Energy Esports has to bring to bear. We've often seen that PA games, she struggles because you kind of need 3 items if you're not playing with Magnus in the team. Deso, Battle Fury, and BKB before you can do anything on the map. And in this game, I think you might actually have to rush BKB because no matter what you do, you're going to be... Chrono can happen, right? If you're not inside Chrono, there's a Wukong's command that can still kill you through the BKB. If you buy BKB, but you don't have damage, then they don't care about you and they just ignore you in the fight. And I don't know about this last pick from Sinister 5. I feel like I can see why they picked it, but it's one of these situations where it's not responding and respecting very well what Energy Esports has to bring to bear. Does not, and also, honestly, playing PA, Faceless Void is one of your worst matchups because PA is not useful without spells, right? She's a right clicker, sure, but she needs to be throwing out the daggers. She needs to be using the Blink Strike. Time dilation. Painful spell against PA. So a lot of pressure out on Sinister 5 right now. I think this is going to be an even harder game for them than game number 1. And they need to do a lot in order to be able to succeed. And now there's even more pressure on Castaway because he's the one that needs to open up the tempo for his team, right? Control the space on the map for everybody. And he's not going to have the easiest start to the game either, right? Monkey King into Ember, not the fun matchup. Like you mentioned, he's going to be forced into maybe playing around the slight build. But if you play into a slight build, that means you are less able in the earlier portions of the game to make effective rotations. This end of the draft seems quite difficult for Sin 5, but you know, knowing my luck, this means that they're going to end up stomping this game and win in 15 minutes.
So here's the thing, right? I 100% agree with you. I think that Energy Esports are going to the grand finals. I think that Energy Esports are a shoo-in. If you want to bet on this game, bet Energy Esports. And the irony is, that's the thing that gives me hope, man, is that, like, this event is not about just pure logic or pure skill. It has been a lot of magic involved in it, and that's my hope, because guys, Energy Esports are going to win this Dota game. They have totally won this draft. It is near impossible for Sinister 5 to win it. Now watch them do it. That's all I have to say.
Easy game.
Let's see. Let's see. But okay, let's go. Yeah. So how do you think Energy? Who do you think Energy are playing in the finals there?
Obviously they're gonna.
Outside card of WRG, maybe.
You know what's gonna happen. You know what's gonna happen here, right? Not a hero is gonna reform Salt out of nowhere and be like, "Let's go, guys." Somehow,
Salt's in the final.
Late entry into the tournament. Let's go.
I like it. I like it. No, it's going to be the Exdee Salt team, so I can be the team. Somehow I'll cast it and play it. It'll be great.
This is interesting. Look at this, right? Energy Esports are setting up to try and get a quick kill on top, and both teams are coming in for these tri lanes here. They had a ward down, I think, from Sin 5 that scouted this movement, so they know what's happening. And they're going on to Yappa first, so the Venom might die before anybody else does.
Oh, beautiful double Impale comes out from Soup, though, and Yappa got off a beautiful double Gale, so maybe not. Work's being done, but they're still going to keep going on this. The tag team's out as well. Damage shot onto Grove, damage shot onto Yappa, who's going to go down first. Looks like it's going to be Yappa. One more click, there you go. First put is in. Again, nice double Impale coming through from Super, starting up. 0-1 to Sinister 5, and they're going to need every last bit of it. I mean, hey, we're resulting in a tri-lane, right? Like, that's how much we know we're under pressure.
This is, I mean, the situation is going to help them out on the top because they really can't afford for PA to get pressured in this game. And they're aware that Energy Esports are fully aware, too, that PA is a fulcrum point they can try and exploit. However, bringing these two supports over to protect the PA, make sure that Deppy has an 100% free lane down bottom. Even absent having vision to scout Chosen One out in the Sandstorm, you feel zero threat from Sand King. You actually don't even care about him. You're like, whatever, dude. Get your farm. I'ma do me and enjoy myself, enjoy life. Get all the CS that I want. You can't really contest me in this situation. And they have a good matchup down bottom in the 1v1 where Chosen can't do anything back to Deppy. And they still have a positive situation for themselves in middle where Adestam already ahead with the CS against Castaway, but it only gets worse as time goes on and you're putting more points into the Jingu and the Boundless Strike. So Energy Esports, despite losing out on the first blood, like, weirdly enough, end up being happy with how the overall lanes have been structured right now.
And they're already ahead. But I will say one thing. This is not just any Sand King, my dear friend. This is an old Dota player Sand King. And I know that sounds like, why would it being an old Dota player matter? Guys, all Dota players know our Sand King, right? We will push this thing to the limit. There weren't many heroes in Dota when Chosen One started, right? Sand King was like, you know, when you were going off lane, your choices were pretty much Sand King and Leshrac. Don't ask. A different time, right?
Gosh, my goodness,
So-
that took me back.
So the thing is,
this man will know how to push this thing. Interesting enough, he's gone for 2 in Sandstorm, 1 in Caustic. I thought he would go high in Caustic up against the Faces, but you know, hey, let's see what happens. Top lane, they're gonna get some damage out again. That does look like Jap will go down.
Nice.
High fives off it, not gonna be taken. It's 2 in 1, and they want to bring down Grove in response here. TKC and Soups will beam me down him. Soups will get out the Ignite, not quite enough to slow things down to keep his core alive. But they want to turn this one around. Soup in trouble. Does he have anything? Beautiful Snapfire Cookie comes in, slow things down from TKC. And there will be a 1-for-1 trade. But 1-3 is the score at the moment in favor of Sinister 5. They'll be okay with that, and they sneak a bit of a lead.
Very happy with it. They've killed this Venom monster 3 times in the top lane. It's given quite a lot of gold away to the PA. And she now is in a much happier position. And they needed to do this, right? Because that pressure that was coming in from Energy into this lane, they really wanted to apply it onto PA.
But mid lane, they're going on to Adistan. They brought in support as well. They're going to try to turn this one around. They do have the Snapfire coming in, but it's too late. Castaway and Grove take a very important scalp for the mid lane.
Dude, Grove's actually been on point. He's been very influential in that top lane. One of the reasons why they've been getting these kills to begin with is his positioning. He's the one that led the charge earlier on with the tag team for the first blood. He's the one that found Yappa the second time around, and he's the one that finds a kill middle. And he might find another one in the top lane. Soup is in a lot of trouble here.
So the snowballs there. They have the ice shots down as well. And Soup goes down. Sister 5. Don't play with my emotions like this. Like, I want a game 3 so bad. Like, there's my bias showing. I don't care about who wins the series. I care about there being game 3. And, oof, it's looking a little bit more hopeful now. But, oh, man, it's going to be hard. It's still going to be so hard, Snare.
Grove Tusk, yo. Grove Tusk doing everything. And Energy Esports are actually trying to force a change up in the configuration of these lanes. They're getting bodied too hard on top. And the main problem is that Yappa is getting literally nothing. So they move bottom with TKC, thinking to themselves, you know what, if he's here with the Sentry Ward and we put more harass onto Chosen One, we force him into a position where he either has to get help or leave the lane. Obviously, he doesn't want to leave, so somebody will have to rotate down to help out. And that'll open up a bit more space for Yappa, who pretty much has no CS to his name right now. Doesn't even have a point into Plague Wards, but top lane, they're happy to go back in.
Again, they want this one, and they do re-engage. Beautiful multi-hero. Pale comes out, but it just doesn't matter. They have too much. And she thinks, oh, buddy, come here, Jappa. I want to give you a little bit of a love tap, and of course, not much in it, but again, they're getting more kills across the board. I do want to point as well, they pick up the Sand King, which is super important, but I love the respect they also gave him. He had his Sandstorm down. They're like, we're not running into this with your core stick up, with your Sandstorm down. We're going to wait for the right opportunity. And they managed to get a nice kill onto that Sand King. Very influential in the way that this lane's going as well. Deppy's now level 6. I'm interested to see how he responds. Like, this is a Chronosphere, which is a game-winning spell in this particular matchup. Does he want to use it a lot? Does he find that engagement? Or is he just going to play for the late game and keep farming? And the irony is, I think both is a good option. But top lane, Grove wants to catch out Soup. They're going to be able to sidestep the ice shots, but the damage is good. They have the ice... the boulder as well. So the snowball comes in and they finish off the job. So 2-7. And again, I feel like Yappa's just literally like, he's got his body in front of him that keeps dying. It's like, okay, so you kill my support, I'm gonna run away. Like, you kill my Nyx, I'm gonna run away. But that seems to be the way the top lane has gone.
I mean, he has to go jungle now, honestly. This lane is over. He can't do anything. Yappa is completely shut out of that top part of the map. Grove is, honestly, Grove Tusk, man. Grove. What a player. And he's been out here, created so much space for his team, and made so many opportunities for them not to have to play. What a dodge! Did you see that? The sidestepping away from the Impale. But because of his influence, Yappa doesn't have a game at all. Down bottom, they might commit the Chrono onto Chosen One, though.
Yeah, I mean, this might be worthwhile. I mean, you want to burn this Chrono, but they don't need it. It looks like they have the damage. And although he's able to get a little bit of pain out his own way from the Sandstorm, it's very, very handy. And again, the fact that they still have this Chrono is so significant.
Yeah, but they are okay with the Sinister 5. Sure, you end up losing the Sand King, but your Sand King is level 6, can still have influence on the map when he respawns. Yappa's going to take quite a while to find any degree of recovery. Still chilling on level 3, about to crack 4 from this mid lane farm. But what this does for Sinister 5 is now they got a way better lane top than they were anticipating being able to find, thanks to the way that they stacked up that tri-lane, making sure that there was no Plague Ward harass onto the PA. So she's free farming, going to get to the Battle Fury in very good stead. She might even get there before Deppy has the +1 item after finishing Mask of Madness. And that opens up a lot of options for Sinister 5. Like I was mentioning in the draft, this lineup needs farm to be effective, especially on this PA. And we'll see if they find it, especially now that they're rotating bottom. Adistan here to help out with the first Chrono of the game, I imagine.
So again, they're going to keep going back in. Burrow Strike's pretty decent, but the damage again significant without using that chrono. Hold on, he
No!
can drop it. Surprise, surprise, this time around the chrono will be dropped down. They have the damage onto Adestam though. They'll bring him down instead. Nice bit of early anticipation from Schlinks, and I kind of feel like Castaway baited it, if I'm totally honest.
I mean, Castaway baited it. Jappa just dies again because he's food at this point in the game. Castaway baited them to pop the usage of the chrono. He knows that if they don't use chrono, he has enough remnants to just straight up kill Deppy. So Deppy gets forced into that position. But the really sad part is that Adestam walked into it. He was outside of the bubble at first, but he took a step in the opposite direction, hoping to get a little bit of hit maybe onto Castaway, hoping for the range for Boundless Strike. Either way, ends up getting massively punished for it at the end of the day. And Sinister 5, they get a lot out of that. A big rotation from Castaway. They're clearing up some farm bottom, getting him closer towards Orb of Corrosion and then Maelstrom. And yet again, the key thing is that every single time they make these moves across the map, Energy is not playing into this PA, who is slowly but surely becoming a massive threat in the game. And given the way that Castaway is playing and how early on we're going to have this Blink Dagger from Chosen One, we're going to have the situation where PA not actually having to show up physically to the fight too closely. You can just spam out the daggers in the engagement, and it sort of removes the kind of liability that can occur from having an all melee lineup when you don't have to commit all of them simultaneously for the engagements.
So, can they win this? Don't play with my emotions like this, but can they win this Dota game with the 5 melee core up against a group of heroes that are all good against melee? Can they win this game?
It's possible. It's possible. It's not impossible, especially with the start this good. And they're about to get another kill on TKC.
Yeah, he's caught up by the snowball again and gets the water punch from no way out. I mean, they've managed to get a couple of kills onto the Chosen One Sanking, which has been handy.
MK?
But he's still making good time on this Blink Tag. He's halfway there, and it looks like they've caught out more. At Aston in trouble, he gets a little bit of help, but Cosmo not quite able to get his remnant out before the damage is there. The stun comes out from Adaston, he's onto the high ground. I'm outie. Survives that little tussle. But again, the pressure being put on, and Soup stuck around. Guess what? You're assembling, my man, and there's no chrono bail you out this time. That looked so good. That Impale 3-man looked wonderful, but not enough.
Yeah, there's 4 heroes on you in the mid lane 10 minutes into the game. Away, it sounds nice, you know. Seems like average times in that situation. Gets taken out, taken down, and regrettably for the next assassin. In this situation, him and Yappa are just literally giving away golden experience, and it's hard for them to do anything to the contrary. Like, you land these amazing spells, but there's practically no follow-up and no ability to follow up either. Your team's a bit too far behind on both gold and experience to really be useful. Although Adam finds a good Boundless Strike.
He wants to make something of this Grove in a little bit of trouble here. He's getting those stacks up with him. Devin gets the 2 of the chrono. Does he know that there's a tasty attack on the high ground? Castaway in trouble. He's able to get the Flame Remnant out though. Mortimer just beaming down on him, but TKC not able to get more from it. But there's a Burrow Strike cut into 2. Chosen One, can they make this work? It asked him on the high ground. Soup will go down. Yappa will likely fall too, but Schlinks and Chosen One, they're the next victims of the block, and they do go down again. Nice Boundless Strike from Adestam, and Castaway in so much trouble. He limps away at 3 for 2. Sinister 5. They stay alive in this one. Are they still interested? They're bringing some people around. They want to catch out more. Adastam caught out. He does have the Wukong Savant, but it's not enough because the Walrus Punch is there, and Grove will find another kill. Come on, Fight Recap. You're lazy. Come back in here. We want to see how things are looking. Hey, where's my Fight Recap?
Gone. Just like the life of the Monkey King. But there it is. Okay,
there it is. Okay, so how does this thing? It gives us the biggest scope of things, I guess. So it's saying there's a slight favoring of Sinister 5, but yeah, super trouble mid lane. They're gonna go back in on him again. We see Castaway on the front lines with Grove and Co. I'm so scared though. They are so stacked on top of each other there. Like, it seems like foreboding.
Doesn't matter when you're this far ahead so far. There's no real big spells to come back. Oh no, Deppy might die here.
Going on the high ground as Sam goes back in. They're bouncing around under Slings. Eventually they bring down the big tanky Yoga, but it's only the one. And looks like Sinister 5 will be able to retreat to the side of the high ground.
I thought we were going to keep chasing from Energy, but they sort of recognize their place in this game right now. They're like, oh wait, we can't actually do this. They can run headlong into us because they're out leveling us, out farming us. We can't really do the same just yet. So we're just happy to be able to get a kill. That'll do for now, a kill. And a fight where we don't end up losing any of our core heroes, which has been very, very rare thus far in this game. And Sinister 5, I love the fact that they are pressing this envelope so hard, making sure that Energy Esports are never in a position to be able to leverage their range advantages against the side of Sin5. You know, it's one thing to talk about, okay, we're gonna have this big Chrono, big Poison Nova, big Wukongs later in the game when these spells can kill these Sin5 heroes, but right now, not really a possibility when they can just happily keep running at you. Just go, 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 go. And look, they're gonna go again. They smoke up. They want to reveal this Blink Dagger from Chosen One and find some key kills off the back of it.
Yeah, this smoke. Again, I feel like it's so... Like, they're only 2k up, but it's so important. Burrow strike in onto the Venomancer. Grove there again with the damage. And... Oh, I thought that was so cute. But I thought he actually was able to evade the Poison Nova. But they do take the damage, but they get the kill. So it's significant. They've managed to get what they really came for. But take a look at the top lane at the moment. Because Depi as well as Soup, they're looking to put pressure on their opposing safe lane. Now, this is super important because they've already lost their mid. They've lost their own safe lane. But this is so they can just create a little bit more pressure, create a little bit of space on the map. But I don't think Sinister 5 give this up at all. They're playing with momentum. It's 8-16. They know that they can keep getting kills. They have the Blink Dagger and the Epicenter up on the Sand King. Shin's going to certainly get the Snowball in. Once again, they just got by a beautiful balance strike onto 2. The damage, the Snapfire! Take that! Energy, return fire, 2 for 1.
And those are the kind of combinations that we were expecting to see with all these melee heroes. The first time they actually overlap on top of each other into all these spells from Energy. And it just looks pitch perfect. Once the first spell lands, it's a wrap from that point. There's no escape possible for Sin5. You end up losing 2, but the big thing is not losing the heroes, but now finally Energy Esports have the capability of bringing down the tower as well. This is so big, opening up the space for themselves on the map, but Sin5 still coming in with numbers. The Power Rangers TPs, they want to fight this year, Hellbird.
Yeah, they are keen, and Castaway,
Chrono?
the haste room, but haste does not quite work against Chronosphere. In Snapfire goes. They went up though. They're backing off Depi, caught up by the Ignite. The damage onto the Veno was good. They pick up the first one. Castaway still looking angry though on the back lines, and Aston is winding up with a Wukongs. Come on, does he drop? He gets cut down. He is literally cut to his knees, and Sinister 5, they'll make this one hurt. TKC, get out of there. He's able to escape, but oh, so close. Sinister 5 on game 3, so do I, so do you. But man, they're making this look so interesting. In they go, they catch out Soup as well. Get tossed up, get stunned down. And Sinister 5 pick up another one. 4k net worth lead. Let's take a look at the graphs just a moment. 24% win probability Energy, which means a 77% because it just ticked up win probability for game 3. Oh, it's 78% there.
Oh my goodness.
Time to invest.
My goodness, this is just going all the way up right now for Sinister 5, and they're playing with this incredible pace. They're not giving Energy Esports any room to breathe, smothering them from jump in every part of the map right now. Castaway is super farmed. He's about to finish off the Maelstrom. I mean, he's not super farmed, but relative to where he should have been, given the matchup in the mid lane, everything's just been going perfectly. And I really can't look past this Venomancer. It really does feel like Yappa has stalled this entire game for his team. Like, the hero was so poor in the lane itself and lost so badly that they were effectively playing 4v5 until now. In fact, I still don't feel like he's actually a part of this game just yet. All he is now and then you can drop Poison Over, but you know, you're just useful for that tick damage later in the fight. And it's given so much acceleration to Sin5, and they lost Depi top. What just happened?
He got the stomps, my man. He got blown up. Like, he didn't look very... Oh, it's not over just yet. They're going to find out TKC. This is a dessert. This is when you go to a restaurant, you find yourself a nice, you know, well-made tiramisu. That's what that is. And it looks like they want the second desserts right now. They're going to find a Castaway misses with the chains. And Soup actually gets a decent bit of damage. And Aston comes back in. He's going to try to follow up. Can Castaway stay alive? He's still alive now, but Jumper drops the poison over. The Wukong's there as well. They're trying to get out. They will lose Castaway, but they still want back in. They're fighting into it. They lose the Sagging. The MP was good though, and his time goes down. Soup now, he's on the run because Sinister 5, they are going to take another 3 for 2. They lost 2 cores. They took a core at the very least, but again, they are keeping this game in their tempo, in their speed, and they are looking so good right now.
Damn. That initiation, that jump, sure, they end up losing both Castaway and Chosen One, but we're now getting a reflection of how far ahead Sinister 5 is. Even in a situation where they're initially outnumbered, they still lack the firepower on the side of Energy Esports. And we saw in that fight, yet again, that Yappa couldn't really do that much. If we look at this team fight recap, he got off all his spells, laid out 8 plague wards, looked incredible, but very little damage relative to what was attainable by the Chosen One on the other side. So they just have this. It's actually really surprising, right? I thought they were going to have that area of control in that fight. Wukong, Poison Nova, all in one area. But when you're this far behind, you just lack the strength to be able to maintain presence there. And as soon as the PA arrives, everybody has to run. I was talking in the draft about how this hero needs the 3 items to be effective. She's already got 2 of them 18 minutes into the game. Battle Fury, BKB, 3k up on the Depi Faceless Void. And she's gonna have this Desolator in a few minutes. And Adestar might die top. Got so... Oh my gosh. Woo, that was close. That was close.
That was close. He was on the edge. If he was on the other side, that he was dead. So, what a moment for Energy Esports. This game, man. How Dota is the best game in the world, right? Like, no one here is gonna argue with me tonight, right?
Yeah, without a doubt. Dota is as like there's pretty much no game. Dota is as good as Dragon's Blood is terrible.
You know, I just want to say, if any of you guys are looking to watch a fantastic anime based on one of the most best-selling MOBAs in the world, Arcane is brilliant.
Yep.
Anyways, moving right along then, we still the best. We've got the best MOBA, right? So you know, don't at me, but yeah. Look, you know, I just want to say, I don't think Dragon's Blood is that bad. That's why we were ashamed by how good Arcane was. That's how it felt.
Yeah, Arcane is like legitimately amazing, but I'll be honest, right? I didn't enjoy any of the experience of watching Dragon's Blood. I was beyond bored watching it.
It was fine. You know, it was like that slightly burnt coffee you get from Wimpy. Like, it's not great. It's a job. You got that like hit of caffeine, but it's not.
Listen, you know, not that anime made me feel like.
Or Motherland, you know.
It's basically cyberpunk, bro. So much hype, so much excitement, just for dreariness, boardom, and mediocrity.
I think you've been incredibly kind to cyberpunk. But anyways, we'll get stuck back in the Dota, yeah. Man. And I gotta say shout out to everyone who's tuning in. 188 viewers currently just on Twitch alone. I know that there's those you watching on YouTube and on Facebook and such, and of course all the people in game as well. Join us on Twitch. Come say hello. We want to say hello to you too. But it's great to see so many people come out and forced to watch some great Dota. And I mean, we're just 20 minutes into the second matchup. There's still a good 20 minutes left, maybe if we're lucky, and hopefully a game 3 so we can decide. Don't care who wins. Don't call me biased because I don't care who wins the series. I just want to see great Dota, and that has been delivered tonight.
I mean, right now we might see more great Dota. Depi has made the decision that they're like, okay, the problem for us is PA. We're going to isolate this as a key issue right now. We're going to give up on the attempts of continually using the bubble onto Castaway. Instead, we're going to hope to find it on PA. Have MKB with Mask of Madness at the ready. Oh, sadness and sorrow. Smokey gets broken by Grove. Okay, Grove, you need to relax, my G. Just seriously, this game has just been out of this world performance from this Tusk. Has done literally everything you could possibly ask for from the hero like this. Has the early Blink Dagger available. Going for this Aghanim Scepter. You know, you might ask, why would you go for every Aghanim Scepter? But, you know what's really great about having the Walrus kick in this situation? You can kick Adestar out of his own Wukongs. And then it's like, well, that sucks. That's not nice. That's not an enjoyable experience for myself. Can give saves as well to make sure that heroes that are closing down on key targets get kicked so much further away that they can't participate in the fight. And also makes them tank up and make it more difficult for any gank attempts. And speaking of gank attempts, Soup,
Snare poop?
you tried, my friend. Woo, that crit.
Tried. Like, I was excited there for a second, but oh, they go back and Grove. You took it at Dota, my man. With the Chronosphere from Depi, even better. He picked up the Aegis means that this fight is still on. Double barrel comes in from the Chosen One, and although the Wukong is doing damage, is enough to very last 3. Adestar, he's fighting back. He wants to bring one down, but come back off the PA. Adestar, he managed to get through the first bit of damage, but he's done, and that is 5 for 2. Sinister 5. Read and weep, they say, as they lose the Aegis, but they take so much more.
They kill everybody. Energy Esports, although they came to the fight, and if they were there literally 2 seconds earlier with the bubble out, then they would have been able to kill this PA and potentially take the Aegis, allow the Faceless Void to survive the engagement, and potentially assist Adestar inside the Wukongs. Instead, they end up getting burst through. They get cleaved apart, just like everybody's eardrums have been cleaved apart. And now...
My bad, my bad. That's a good response here. Chosen One like to go down and get the bow strike back through, but inside that sandstorm, he is still very vulnerable because they're all converging on his location and they bring him down again. So they do pick up a nice call there. Sinister 5 lose an important, I think an important player who's played very well as well in the series. So that kind of sucks, but they again have pulled ahead further. What happened? What happened? What happened there?
The PA, right? Due to the damage that was received in the top lane by her before she TP'd out, she didn't decide to TP home, right? She TP'd to the safe lane tier 1 tower in the mid lane, or in the mid tower, and she actually got down to 30 health, and she would have died, right, from the damage, if not for Grove saving her with a snowball and dodging some of the damage ticks. Like, what a player, honestly. This is ridiculous. Like, you actually deserve to die. Actually, no. Die, stay dead for a while. You being alive on the map right now is making this game unfair for Energy Esports. Because what are you supposed to do against this? Wow, what a player. What a player. And even in that situation, if he doesn't die there, then potentially they have the chase onto the high ground. But unselfishly gives up his life, opens up more space on the map for his team, makes sure that all the core heroes are in a position to win the game. And that's what you're supposed to do as a support, right? Enable your team, not just steal their kills and take their farm.
Okay, well, 16-29 is the squad. Let's take a look at the stats, see how things are going. The graphs show that currently there's still a 78% win probability for Sinister 5. They're about... I already hate the new network and stuff, but they're 44k up against 36,000 at the moment. The experience, they're about 2,000 ahead as well. So they're looking very, very comfortable. But again, you do have to respect the fact that this Chronosphere, one great Chronosphere, can really do so much with them. If that PA had picked up that Aegis a little bit later, maybe it was a different story. Once again, Grove goes in, gonna get the Warlord's Punch up onto Soup, and the damage looking pretty good from Chosen One. They should be able to finish things off without overcommitting here, but they are going to bring the Castaway forward. They still want this fight, but it looks like Sinister 5 will be left to chase shadows as Energy Esports back off once more.
Kind of surprised that they're not investing into more 4-staffs on the side of Energy Esports right now. They know that they are playing into these ice shots from Grove, which have been placed immaculately every single fight, and just having some sort of mobility. We were talking about it in the draft, how when they got to this Japa pick for the Venom Monster, how it sort of robbed the team of a lot of further mobility. And we really seeing the impact of this one right now. They feel so slow. Even when they spot out the movements coming in towards them, they don't really have an easy option to move away from it. They just have to watch and be like, well, whoever can run away, you run. But if you get left behind, sorry, there's nothing we can do to help you out. Japa has a lot of ATOS. You know, we have on the Nyx Assassin, the Aether Lens into Aghanim Scepter, but no easy ways to be able to save people. I think this is really kind of a mistake. They need a 4-star, but Japa also needs this Hellbird really, really badly. Nyx would like to get Ags, but realistically, Soup, come on, man. We're not getting Ags anytime soon. Just buy a 4-star, bro.
You know, sometimes... You know, there's this like thing I always like to talk about, which is winning Dota versus not losing Dota. But sometimes, yeah, giving up on the Ags for a 4-star is winning Dota, or at least not losing Dota, right? Like it gives you something. Anyway, Chosen One, you're gonna find out Soup here. I'm sorry, but you know, I can recommend some great soups out there, but apparently so can the PA because that was destructive. Castaway and Co, they go back in. There's a snowball in the back line. In comes Wukong Swan and a Sam in there. Do they have the damage to? So they've already lost 3. They're going to lose the Venom Monster as well. And although this Ogre is limping away, he will fall down. It's 5 and just the 1 for Sinister 5. Ladies and gents, I said they couldn't win this game, but it's EGL 1, right? Yep. And right now, it looks so good for Game 3. Because again, magic is happening before your very eyes. Watch this Game 2 disappear, ladies and gentlemen, because Game 3 is so damn close.
Should never have picked Venom Monster. Honestly, this entire game is down to that pick. Like, it ruined everything for them. It forced them to play in such a way in the top lane. They tried to protect him, but they weren't able to. And they might lose. Okay.
What happened there, Snare? Do you want to give us an analysis of how the damage occurred?
What happened, right, is that this PA has a can of Doom that's just sitting in her pocket, and she just quickly sprayed it onto Soup, like and the bug was gone.
Like this bug over here. Ooh, yeah, that was a timely vendetta because, I don't know, dude, that Stifling Dagger might have been enough.
My god. PA is just way too farmed right now. Abyssal Blade coming soon. Found a Brigand's Blade as well, so that's additional damage. They just... Soup, dead again. Still, okay, at least he's, you know, given up on the dream of Aghanim Scepter. He's downgraded his expectations, now looking for a Ghost Scepter. Some degree of survivability, but it's not gonna work out.
The damage damage is too insane. They're picking him up again, and ladies and gentlemen, a Castaway might be the one calling for help in the chat lines, but it's Energy right now that need it, because right now they're just feeling themselves. 15k up at the moment, Snare. This is pretty done, right? Like,
Yep,
this is
is
game
done.
3. Sure, D?
Yeah, there's no way to win this game. Like, they're too far behind. The core hero matchups that can try to fight against Sin 5 aren't really ready. We've seen that even when Wukong's command gets dropped, Monkey King is dying inside of his own Wukongs. The Faceless Void Chronosphere is 100% not really getting them anything. You know, you were asking about it earlier, like what usages will we be seeing from these Chronos from Deppy? And most of them have just been just not useful. You just can't get anything out of it because he doesn't have enough damage to actually kill heroes by himself within the bubble, and all the damage being supplied from without is also not enough, you know? We have an under-leveled Snapfire, so we don't have enough Morty's Kisses. They were forced to pop a smoke just to prevent TKC from getting burst by stifling daggers. And all of these heroes, look how tanky they are now. Even if they get uninterrupted full usage of the Morty's Kisses, it's actually unlikely that they die. And that's leaving aside just how impactful Grove has been. He's been saving heroes from outside of the Chrono as well, going in with the usage of the Snowball.
Chrono onto Castaway. Snapfire didn't work. They actually brought in more. This might be a comeback moment right now. Energy, they pick up too early on. The buyback comes back in, but look at PA go. SM run. It's after you, Jumper. Flee, because guess what? The crits are coming for you. Up onto the high ground. SM goes onto the tree line because they won the fight. They lost the war because this man popped BKB and he's still alive. The root comes out, the Gales come out. Do they have it? Boundless Strikers there. Well, Castaway's back in it. They're gonna trash on Jumper. He's trashed. They're gonna bring down an Astem as well. BKB Rampage for your peer and TKC. You are next. G. Sinister 5 take us to game 3 with a draft that should never have worked. But it's time for some EGL magic, ladies and gentlemen. And what you've seen here today is a promise come true because it's that damn good. Forget the stats. I just want to hear what you have to say, Snare, and then I want to take a break because we got to get ourselves ready for this one.
Listen, Energy. So, like I mentioned, right, I really think that Yappa's Venom Monster, that pick ruined the game for all of them. They started off in this try-and configuration, right, assuming to themselves, all right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to get ourselves these early kills in this top lane and just keep the pressure on, right? And everything went wrong from jump. So, firstly, Sinister 5 respond very well in kind, bring both Schlinks and I almost call him Filthy Frank, but that's an old school name, our boy Grove up into the lane. And not only did they supply the support, right, they get the first blood on Yappa. And that starts the cascade because sure, they get a very quick counter kill, a very quick D-ward, but they were able to repeat that cycle. They kill Yappa again. He comes back, they kill him again. He comes back, they kill him again. And they were prepared to give up heroes in the trade because they were aware that, listen, if we keep doing this reliably, we're going to get to a point where he does not do anything. The hero's going to be forced to go into the lane and die. Okay, I can't go into the lane, let me go jungle. You can't jungle very well as Venom Monster if you don't have early points into the Plague Wards, which he didn't level. He was assuming that using the additional overload of numbers, they were going to be able to get kills from Harass. That doesn't happen. It keeps the supports always playing top. Eventually, when they're like, okay, this is not working for us, let's try to do something different. Let's move TKC to somewhere else on the map. Bro, it helps against Chosen One, but that top lane is still washed, right? Yappa's doing nothing. And you've effectively given Energy or Sinister 5 an additional lane to play that they didn't have to work hard for. And you're like, cool. It's an easy game. Like, I think it's very telling that at the very end of this Venom Monster, the damage output that the Venom Monster did was okay, right? 20k damage, the most on his team by anyway, not a big margin, but still more than Adastam, Deppy, all of them. But ultimately, it was very rarely surviving fights, very rarely involved in critical kills. And crucially, none of these heroes, 5 melee heroes here, Hellbird, and none of them felt any bother against playing into Venom Monster, into Monkey King, into Faceless Void. It all starts from the laning phase, all cascades from there. Castaway has an incredible game, but honestly, major props. Grove, my god. This was, not only does he help out in that top lane to get those early kills onto Yappa, he's the one that initiated that using the tag team, but he's also the first one to rotate middle. Castaway wasn't having necessarily the best initial start. He shows up, they kill Adastam, suddenly Castaway's in a much better position. Then Castaway has the freedom to move bottom, draw out that first chrono, and not just draw out the first chrono, Adastam TP'd in for the first chrono and died because he walked into the bubble itself. Those first 10 minutes, everything that could possibly have gone wrong for Energy went wrong. And the game for Sinister 5 sort of played itself afterwards, right? And especially for this PA, 19-0-11, absolutely unbothered. Easiest performance ever. And those crit numbers, yeah, you always feel very good when you're literally one-shotting heroes. And that's just the way the game crumbles. Like, if your PA is allowed to have Battle Fury, Desolator, and BKB all before the 25-minute mark, that's just, it's almost an impossible game to come into a situation where you win positively, especially when she's super farmed while she's at it. The whole team is supporting her. And Sin 5 just rolled over Energy Esports. Honestly, Energy looked, I wouldn't say lost, but clearly they themselves knew that there was no obvious play that they could make to get themselves back into the game.
Okay. Snare? I kind of want to break. I'm totally honest. I was gonna lie to you. Like, sometimes I want to just to keep rolling on, right? And I must say I'm feeling it right now. This has been the series we need. I know it's been like two one-sided affairs. I mean, both games, one team looked like they were always gonna win it.
Yeah.
But with different teams. And it's one of those things where I feel like game threes are so good. But we need to give this the respect to this. We're going to take a quick break, but don't go anywhere, because Game 3, the decider of the upper bracket of EGL 1 is coming your way in a moment. I'll see you soon.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, here to EGL 1 Season 2, the upper bracket final, a teaser, potentially, for the grand finals themselves, and the beginning of the end of the road here for EGL 1 Season 2, and what a journey it's been. And I think the perfect games to epitomize the kind of journey it's been has been this series. Game 1, incredible stomp from the side of Energy Esports. It was not even close. Somehow, Game 2 was even more of a stomp coming in from Sinister 5. So we know that this last game going to be electric. It's your boy Snare on the mic. I'm with Hellbird. Hellbird, the great one. Tell us, what are we getting? What are we getting? Where's this going? How does this journey end?
I believe I don't care anymore. I just want to see great Dota, right? And I think that's the one thing we guaranteed, because whether it's one-way traffic and one team just puts on a spectacle of how good they are, or whether it's a very close back and forth game, I think we've been treated to a fantastic series already, and I think that we've set the tone for how competitive this event is, how much there's great sides still left here. I mean, bear in mind, there's still a matter to be decided between one White Rabbit game and Exdee, which is its own beautiful story that needs to be completed as well. And of course, that's just going to lead on to more and more and more Dota that's going to happen. Honestly, I think that these two teams are exactly where they should be. 1-1 in an upper bracket final, and one of these sides is going to set the pace for everyone else to follow. Who that is going to be? Meh. Don't know. You tell me. Do you know? Because I don't.
I don't know, but I do know we're going to find out together because we have a draft. So now we get to see where this goes. And one thing that's not going to change, that's always going to remain constant, is that Grove will not play Tree. Do the right thing.
Surprise.
But what do you think, right? I think there might be an argument for having to respect ban the Tusk, because that performance on the Tusk was, yeah, it was a bit much. However, doing so might also leave the Earth Spirits in the pool, and you don't want to do that. And you don't have first pick either, so you can't like ban the one, pick the other. And they're gonna take the risk. They leave it in the pool. Sinister 5 will decide to leave the Undying in the pool as they take out the LC, so it looks like they're focused and they're identifying Yappa as the problem here. They're like, we ban his heroes, deal with him. I think it must be a reflection of how easy Game 2 was when Yappa wasn't allowed to play Dota. So they're like, well, let's just do that again. Let him not play and it'll be fine.
Yeah, I mean, that's where it does get the ban, but I think there's so many heroes that there are players here that can win games with, right? That it feels like inevitable that something's going to make its way through that's going to be really powerful. I agree with you that Tusk was so good in the last game. I think that the fact that Sims 5 were able to win a Dota game with 5 melee heroes against 5 heroes that are all good against melee is a testament to how well they executed in the last game. But we're going to go back for the Ogre again. I mean, it's a hero. I mean, it plays the Dota, it casts the spells, and I mean, you seem to like it, even though I think you like it because it's good, not because it's fun.
Yeah, I like it because it wins games, you know? And in that game, Schlinks did an amazing job. Like, we didn't even, you know, for me, the mark of a really good POS 5 player, a POS 5 player who's playing really, really well should be barely noticeable, right? You shouldn't even think, you should just be like, oh wait, my hero's always being saved, my hero always has the buff ups on me of the bloodlust, my hero's always getting somebody nearby me to tank gags and things like that. And you look back and you're like, wait a second, Schlinks finished the game 5-5 and 28? How? Where? What? And he just quietly does that, you know? I remember we once had a podcast with Castaway and he was like, we always looked at Schlinks like, good score, man. Because he'll just quietly be doing his thing, you know? Grinding it out. And so I'm happy that he gets this. And I'm also happy that Sin 5 seems to be sticking with the confidence of going for the early Ember. But Energy Esports, they want to be able to do something. They're like, you know what? Going away from these Veno type heroes, we have something for Yappa. Even if this is not the Yappa hero, it does signal a statement of intent that they recognize that if you're going to win this game, it has to be like game 1. Both times that the team has won in this series has been off of playing with the pace, with the aggression. Whoever sets the tempo tends to win. So getting heroes like this that can make that happen, exceptionally important early on in the draft.
Yeah. I mean, and as you mentioned, I mean, these are actually, I mean, I say Ember Spirit certainly sets a tempo, but both Weaver and Spirit, again, these are heroes that like to play aggressive Dota. So probably a little bit of a tick towards Energy Esports, but I guess Ogre Magi is an enabler. I'm giving it a bit of a hard time, but it is not a slow hero because it's more just whatever you do, you'll do it more now. So yeah, if you pick fast heroes around it, it'll be fine. But okay, let's see how this one goes. They got the Treant, Earth Spirit, Tusk, Rubik, and one more to come. I'm sad to see the Rubik go. Obviously, I think it's such a fun hero to cast, but you know, maybe we'll still get another Sanking.
I'm actually glad Rubik's not here because I do want to see. I'm hoping that Grove plays something different. I really like seeing past 4 players. I mean, they're not going to be playing the Tusk either, but I really love seeing different showcases of their skills. And then one of the issues that's always been present when playing against teams that has Grove in them is just how many heroes you have to ban. You're like, all right, can't give Tusk, can't give Tree, can't give Earth Spirit, can't give Rubik. Literally all the bans are right now focused specifically on Grove. And they're like, yeah, if we give this guy a good game, it's just too difficult for us to deal with. So where will Energy Esports go? I like the fact that with the opening 2 that they have, the Spirit Breaker Weaver, it doesn't reveal too much about the draft. And that's what gives Sinister 5 the option of having to ban multiple different playstyles just to be able to cover all their bases. They're like, well, we're not trying to play into this. We also don't know who the safe laner is, so I'm curious to see where that Spectre ban is going to lead into. Maybe we see a Drow or something at the very end of this draft.
Interesting, yeah. I mean, or perhaps even going back for the Tinker, because again, that like Tinker versus Spec is really hard. Because if Tinker gets a good start, sorry, if Spec gets a good start, it's incredibly difficult to play Tinker because there's just a super powerful character that, with the power of an Agnum Scepter, can always be on top of you, and that just requires some vision, obviously, but with his ulti, he can be there wherever he wants to be. So you just need to see March the Machines, and he's on top of you. So very difficult here to play against. So maybe that's where Sinister 5 want to go back. They want to go rock that Tinker. I mean, I don't think Cast was a bad Tinker. I think it was a bad game for Tinker, and that's a very big difference. But I like the fact that NG are going back to this kind of tanky, in-your-face heroes, things that can make things happen. Jakiro, again, another difficult hero to deal with in lane. And I think that it's also one of those unsung heroes. I feel like there's certain heroes in Dota that you look back afterwards, and although the player may have not have been like, wow, he did so much, Ice Path and Macapire, they create opportunities to hurt things, and they hurt things. Like there's something you want to see in the stats afterwards, and you'll see how well they actually do. So I like the fact that they go back to Jakiro again. Weaver, Spirit Breaker, lane dominators want to play fast tempo. I like it. Since 5 going to respond with the Hoodwink. Interesting, because I think Hoodwink was originally popularized by the fact that it had a break in a meta that break was bad. They changed Silver Age to be a good break. It was no longer the same kind of thing. But obviously, since 5 still value the hero, and I mean, I don't know how I feel about this. Snare, do you have some insight in this that I don't?
The one thing I do like about Hoodwink, right, it can create a lot of pace. If you start well with the laning phase from this hero, it does 2 things. Firstly, it can help you protect the lane, but the main thing I think they want this hero for is it helps you set up for the Ember Spirit. Any rotation that happens to the side of the map where Hoodwink is, practically a guaranteed kill for a hero like Ember Spirit. It secures you several heroes in one location for Flame Guard burn, Searing Chains to connect the Remnant forward, and of course, we don't know what other heroes are going to emerge later in the draft, but you still want to have the option of having to have the break without having to pick a hero who will buy Silver Edge. Of course, they still have that option deeper in the draft, but I think it's just one of these things where it's another enabler, right? It's not going to be as crazy, for example, as the Rubik Tusk that we've seen from Grove, but it can still do a lot more setup for the team than what is often immediately apparent, right? Sometimes you look at this hero, you're like, oh, what's he going to do? And then you're like, oh gosh, okay. And of course, it's a really nice way to be able to cancel out the Spirit Breaker charge. The Bushwhack connecting on the hero charging cancels it immediately, and it's not that hard to be able to scout a Spirit Breaker and be like, oh, there he goes. Just throw it, and it's fine. And stop him in his tracks. Super easy.
I mean, super easy in a match that's this important, right? Again, I want to specifically state that I think if you're a South African Dota player, you need to look at this as this is an opportunity to compete in the single game, right? At some point, we're going to come down to one game of Dota, whether it's because one team is 2 up in a best of 5, or because it's the final match of a best of 5. However it turns out, this match gives you distinct honor of being able to play in that matchup in EGL 1 Season 2, which, as far as I'm concerned, as far as most of the players are concerned, and as far as most of the community is concerned, is the de facto match that will decide who wins 2021. I mean, that's what it's all been about, this exact moment. There's nothing bigger in the scene right now. This is it. This is it. And you want to win this game to give yourself that distinct honor. Regardless how it ends, at least you could have said you'd been there. And of course you want to win it too. And both these two sides know that, I mean, they have every intention of winning this event, so it's super cool. But okay, so Kunkka comes back out now from NG. I love Kunkka. I think it's a very flexible hero. I think that Coco Rum is sometimes underrated at how much it just makes team fights so much harder. You just can't quite lay into heroes the way you want to. And of course, the catch on X is fantastic.
5 seconds.
It's great. Like a good solid hero. And I think it again fits with this kind of in-your-face meta that they're looking for at the moment.
Yeah, they've got a lot of tank ability right now. With Coco Rum as well, all these heroes were already difficult to kill beforehand. Coco Rum, like, just exacerbates that situation. And one of the things I love about a Kunkka into Mars matchup is Mars is very low to pop Arena before Kunkka has used their spells, because then you pretty much set yourself up for one big target for Kunkka to be able to land everything in. Of course, we still have Jakiro as well that combos up brilliantly with the Kunkka. They've got some push potential, they have some tank ability, a BKB carrier, and a Hellbird buyer in the event that whatever last pick hero for Sinister 5 needs a Hellbird against it, and they can take a little bit of the pressure off of the offlane for Yappa, allow him to just buy Echo Saber into Ags. So I do like the Kunkka, also a BKB buyer, and I do think this is a kind of game where BKB is going to be required. Definitely don't want to see calls without it. So like to see it. Morphling Naga banned now by the side of Energy. Sin 5 take out the Luna Ursa. And Spectre's gone, Lifestealer's gone, PA is gone. A lot of carry heroes are removed. So it actually just, you might be forced to play Drow out of necessity, but Spirit Breaker will be able to get Vision out onto you, so will Weaver. There's already the catch potential you mentioned from X. I want something that's a bit tankier. So, do they have space for Troll? Maybe? They could try and fit that in. It's very tanky, hard to kill. They don't have much burst on the side of Energy. Although Weaver being available, we already saw the Spirit Vessel into Troll matchup. Maybe this is a bit better. Still does the same thing. It's tanky, stands there, it fights. That's all it needed to do.
I actually prefer the Troll as well. I think that the Sven gives them another reliable form of the Sable. It's, as you mentioned, a tank hero. They can play on the front lines. And I think that... Actually, I'm just biased. I don't like Troll that much. I mean, there's honesty, right? so I like the Sven pickup. But Energy Esports, their turn to respond to this one. Yeah, I do think they're missing something flashy here right now. I care more about, considering the position we're in, less about what hero fits best, as more so what hero enables them to win a Dota game. And I think that this could be like an Adasta mid Kunkka, for example, which would be totally fine. I think would work out quite nicely for them. But I would actually love to see something a little bit different, like run and weave in the one position or something like that, just to enable Adasta to play something that's a little bit flashier. Because I mean, Kunkka is going to do what Kunkkas do. You know, like you're expecting a torrent into boat X combo, and then that's, you know, what he's going to do, and then apply pressure. And the pressure is really what takes the skill there. But I'd love to see something like flashy. I mean, my mind keeps going to Invoker. It shouldn't be Invoker. I don't think they should pick Invoker, but I mean, it's kind of what I do. I don't think it's going to happen. I think that's a mid Kunkka. I think they're going to pick a one position now that's going to settle their draft for them. So is there one position that you want to see, Stan?
Troll, unironically. Troll or Monkey King, I think, are probably the best options. Medusa comes out. This was, you know, they wanted to have, like we saw earlier on with all the bans that were available, this does sort of open up space for a hero like Medusa. They have a lot of, like, oftentimes when you see Medusa, you want beef, right? You either want beef or something that gives her a steroid. In this particular situation, they doubled down on the beef. Coco Rum will help keep her alive as well. The matchup into Sven is it's an interesting one. It's a peculiar one, because you have situations on this Medusa hero where you play into Sven and he can't do anything. You outfarm him so quickly that by the time he shows up to the fight, you're just able to tank through everything, right? And it can take Sven quite a while to leverage all the full damage before you have things like your Daedalus, your AC, like a bajillion other items in that regard. So I do feel this Medusa, it can work. It's not the same hero as it used to be, in the sense that it's not a slow hero. Now it can play quickly enough that you always bother Sven. He can't fight through the Stone Gaze. You're always going to end up being able to buy Skadi. Skadi is really, really bad for Sven. He hates playing into the Eye of Skadi. And of course, the late game matchup is one of the few ones that's very poor for the Sven. And of course, we also have a similar situation as what we saw in game one, right? The Troll into the Spectre matchup. One hero amazing against individual targets. That's the Sven in this particular situation. The other can rinse your whole team by itself if it gets strong enough. And this time, Deppy playing that same kind of hero again. So from Spec to Medusa in this matchup, I think I like it. I'm really good at this. One of the better heroes, I think, against Sven in general. And I think it suits this situation, given how hard it's going to be for them to kill this Dusa with how many heroes can interrupt that attempt.
All right, so games go live. We're about to. So there's a couple of things that need to get. So there's some admin that needs to be performed here whilst the smoke goes up. The first one's shout out to Spartans. This is directed to the Twitch chat. A shout out to Lethal Jukes for the best joke of the night. And then Snare, there's definitely a couple of Snare fans out there tonight, and I think that, you know what they deserve? They deserve an Energy Sin 5 introduction to this matchup. So would you be so kind as to give us the biggest cry of the night?
before this first blood happens. Go.
Oh, no energy. That's in 5. Let's go. Game 3, the grand final trailer. And TKC, fortunately, gonna be the... Oh, is he living? No, he's not. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. I mean, it's not so bad. It's not so bad. You know why? He forces Castaway to go slight level 1. So it's okay. It's fine. You know, he did this on purpose here, Hellbird. He was debating to open up space now because Adderstam's going to show up to lane, realize that Ember Spirit doesn't have access to Flame Guard, and have a little bit of an easier time of things at the beginning here.
Now, Snare, here's the thing. I think, you know, we put you under too much pressure there, right? So you have to like weave that into the actual first blood. So before the second blood happens,
all right.
Hold on, say nothing. Dota's happening. Just we're gonna be quiet. We're gonna be quiet for a minute, and then we're gonna get this. I'm a caster. Jumper in trouble. Thinks they're being down on the big tanky bear at the moment, but looks like he's gonna be limping his way onto the high ground. Gets caught out by the Sven and pinned up against the tree line. Super wants to help out, but this will be your second kill of the game. And what game is it, Snare? What game is it?
This right here is the upper bracket final, the preview for the grand finals. EGL 1 Season 2 El Clasico here in South Africa. Energy Esports versus Sinister 5. One stomp one way, one stomp the other way. We can't wait for the results on this one. The runes have been picked up. Soup recovers the kills by being able to steal some gold. So we're going to have a good one here, Hellbird. Let's get it. Let's go.
All right, there we go. That was the one we need. Now we can go. Right now we're ready. All right, let's do this. Okay, so again, obviously a beautiful start for Sims 5. The 2 kills very early on really does not suck at all, and of course with the added bounty pressure they put on, they have a slight lead going into this one. I say this, Energy have already picked this one back up courtesy of a couple of extra creeps going their way early on. So. Not a huge amount in it just yet. Castaway, as you mentioned, he did get forced into this line of fist early, but he's made his way to level 2 without too much pressure just yet, although I'd asked him. We'll catch him out with the torrent in the mid lane. Yep. Are there any lanes in particular you think are going to be exciting? Do we need to keep an eye on anything?
No, it's actually very farm heavy on all 3 sides of the map. Like, bottom lane, I don't imagine any kills happening here. Everyone's too tanky. The only one that might die is Soup, but that requires him to get caught by both Fire Blast and Stormhammer, and he has to be under vision, and presumably tank a tower pot shot. That's just not gonna happen. Yappa, provides he keeps a single level ready in charge of darkness, shouldn't die either. Mid lane, very difficult to come by kills here. I think there's going to be a skill-based matchup largely here. And, of course, the top, it's Medusa. It's Medusa versus Mars. It's Medusa. Whatever. I don't have to say more, right? No kills are going to happen on this side of the map.
Yeah, I just want to say I've also been unkind, because I think it's the worst question to ask in Dota. You know, back in the day, we used to ask things like, who do you predict will win the Dota game, right? That was like the worst question to ask in Dota, but now it's which lanes. So I'm sorry for the discourtesy, but yeah, interesting enough, the bottom lane seems to be very aggressive at the very least. Japa and Soup have been happy to lay into the Sims 5 lineup down there, and admittedly, I think there's been no reason not to clash straight back. They've been applying their pressure of their own. So I do like the fact that we're going to see 2 teams very, very eager to trade blows early on. But top lane right now, that's where the most damage is coming out. Chosen One backing off for the time being. Grove trying to tickle Deppy as they apply some pressure to this Mars.
Yeah, they're out of regen as well. They only have tangos left, so no easy salve to pop. Chosen One will have to play a lot more carefully in the situation. And TKC, another dual breath out onto Grove, doing a great job here of zoning back the heroes, not allowing them to really maintain their presence in the lane itself. They're definitely going to have to ferry an additional regen here, and Grove doing it already. Courier coming close with the salve so that Chosen One can actually play in the lane itself. Quite a necessary thing. However, end of the day, the real story here is that Deppy is just going to keep farming. And this is... They cannot allow this to happen, right? This is sort of a similar dynamic to Game 1, where if Deppy is allowed to have a free game or just anything remotely resembling a normal one, he has a potential to just completely run away with things and have effectively a takeover situation happen. So they need to, as much as possible, get this pressure out onto the Medusa.
They are doing just that. At the moment, Chosen One having to deal with TKC, though. Again, a very tanky support in Jakiro. Happy to trade blows, but Deppy and Co, they're trading it straight back. So they're doing a good job of keeping this line towards the bottom lane, though. Soup and Schlings, they're going to beat each other up a little bit, offering the hand of friendship.
Lol.
No one ever takes the hand of friendship. What is the meta there? Like, why? I see this all the time, but no one ever accepts it. So I'm kind of surprised it happens.
I've seen it be accepted sometimes, but you accept it after you've gotten some revenge back. You know, then you're like, oh yeah, man, you know, high five us. And Soup, I think, is very well justified putting in the high fives, because that's twice now that he's killed a courier down bottom, getting his team a little bit of an advantage. So Very annoying to play into this Weaver. And the main thing is that whenever he makes these kind of moves, he draws away attention from Yappa. And if it's 1v1 between the Sven and the Spirit Breaker here, both of them just trade. Sure, Sven is going to outfarm you, but Yappa doesn't necessarily care about being outfarmed right now. It's more about making sure you get these levels. And they might go for Schlinks down bottom.
So again, you can see that they're trading on this pressure at the moment. Stinks able to get out for the time being, with Soup scooching after him. They look like they want to hit Jappa as well. Let's just return fire a little bit. But they're already fighting over the stack. It's actually quite significant. I mean, it's not just about killing the neutrals, but also about killing your opponent's creeps. You don't want that experience and gold to go lacking, because of course you deny your... Or rather, when a creep kills a neutral, you lose all of it, right? Like the gold and the experience. So you really want to make sure that you're hitting yours. But in the end, again, it's still a little bit quiet. Do you get the feeling this is going to be the same as game 1, where it's really quiet in the laning phase and then just explodes? Or is this going to be... is there a core item? Like, what are we waiting for here, Sven?
For Castaway, I think we're waiting for Orb of Corrosion plus level 7, level 8. And you might not even wait for the full Orb of Corrosion, honestly. Just getting the levels themselves and having a bottle charge. Then he might decide to make a big move. And then for Energy Esports, I mean, they have a little bit more latitude in terms of what they want to do on the map. They don't require to get ahead right now and force things to happen, as they get a lot stronger with some of their earlier item pickups that they get. For example, this Weaver would very much like to be able to just calmly sit and finish the full Spirit Vessel. You know, Kunkka, very happy to just sit here, get Omelet. I think this is probably, let's see, Phase Boots into Hellbird BKB? Yeah, Hellbird is super good against Sven, so that might be the option for them. Sadly, oh, top, Debbie almost died. That was so close. And I think Chosen One, unfortunately, you're not going to buy Blink Dagger first this game. You kind of need Omelet. Your team is going to lack damage if you don't go for that direction. But that does mean that you are
mid lane, you need to coke around onto Slings. The damage, not quite there. He's scared to go back in because Castaway is supporting the support. And I think the reason he comes back in here, right, is just that he wants to make sure that that damage isn't actually supplied to Castaway instead. So a nice bit of movement.
Did the right thing. At a stand though. Not really gonna get put off by this situation. Just to dip back into the jungle, keep farming there. And, you know, Castaway, he did start level 1, of course, with the Sleight of Fist, but as time gone on, he's just gone in for that Flame Guard build. It's allowed him to get past the Kunkka in terms of his overall gold. And now that he has level 4 Flame Guard, it's cooling down. He is level 7. I just mentioned that this is the time to make this rotation. And indeed, right on schedule with the Haste Rune bottled here, Hellbird. He's going to the top lane. He wants to try and assassinate Deppy on the Medusa.
Oh, but actually really well read by TKC. He moves in first, so he's going to tank this gank. He's going to buy an opportunity for Soup to come back in. Obviously, TKC's dead, but guess who's alive? Deppy. And Soup, he's kind of interested. Grove is low, but they're going to spear up Soup, and they might get more for this. You TP it in here, buddy. You picked this fight. We're going to take it. And Deppy, again, is alone here. They're respecting the Medusa up against the tier 1 tower, but they've really won with this rotation. And guess what? Castaway has actually left behind a Flame Remnant. Do they want a little bit more? We'll find out in just a moment after this commercial break of Adestam farming bottom or something.
We'll be right back after these messages.
And we're back after these messages. And
no, we're not. Yo, that would have been the perfect segue into the pause if the joke had... Castaway, a little bit late, my friend. A little bit late. Just like the rotation, you know? Had it come a little bit earlier, they would have been able to find Deppy, but TKC read it really well. Protect Deppy in the situation, but they came back, like you mentioned, and they want to go for round 2. This might really benefit the side of Energy because now they have time to think about it. So we'll see if they decide to TP heroes en masse to the top lane. I really think they should. Kunkka has a TP at the ready. Come and help, please.
He agrees. They go straight back in. Deppy is close. He's taking a lot of damage early on, but they get a beautiful ice path down. Castaway and Chosen One stand up, but in comes a Kirkaram. Castaway on the far end. He's still ready. Deppy wants us so bad. He will get it. Can he survive? No. He's caught up by the tower and he will be brought down in the end. So it's going to be a 1-for-1 trade. But bear in mind, although the pause may have disrupted that's actually in the back of them already winning a team fight. However, it's not over just yet because Chosen One, he wants to go back in, but he is being... Where's the charge? What?
Oh my God.
Happened?
You know what happened? I was watching the charge. I was following Yappa, right? I wanted to see how he's going to involve himself in the fight. The charge went past Roche. Roche hit him first hit bash. Cancels the charge, and because he doesn't get the charge, Mars doesn't have any threat and easily kills Adestam.
Deppy in trouble again. He's caught out. They're going to bring in support from Soup, so it might be the end of it. He was forced to pop his Stone Gaze though, so it's a little bit of a win for Sinister 5, but
yeah.
Oh, Rashawn, why are you there? Why can't you just
Oh
be
my God.
somewhere slightly... Like, honestly, let's be honest. Do you play a lot of Spirit Breaker, Snare?
Not anymore. Used to be one of my favorite heroes though, back in, especially in Dota 1. It was like my most played hero by like a big margin.
Okay, well, Spirit Breaker is one of my... Oh, I forgot this hero existed. I'll pick him heroes, right? And I just want to say that every single time you charge, it doesn't matter. You're charging top lane to top lane, and you still somehow have to go via Roshan to get there. So, honestly, it's just... You're always getting hit by Roshan. So I'm not too surprised that it happened, but that does suck, because I think Energy were playing under the assumption that they were going to have the threat from the Spirit Breaker, and it just never came. I was just watching like, this charge is not latching, and yeah, it was gone. So nice bit of reprieve there. Sinister 5 obviously quite well ahead in this one at the moment, 61 early on, but it's only a 1k, less than a 1k in fact net worth lead. Take a look at the graphs for just a moment. It's actually very close, even though win probability is still sitting at 57 versus 43, so we're still in for a good game of Dota at the moment.
Top lane. They're gonna lose TKC and they're gonna get the tower, I believe. So this is what they need to do as well, because they need to try and shut down as many spaces on the map where Deppy wants to be farming. That big usage of the Stone Gaze middle forces you back into the jungle. You really can't play the lane without that spell anymore. And they have such a nice little niche on this Ember Spirit, who's now gotten level 8, has the full Orb of Corrosion. Definitely wants to be able to make another rotation, so he's hoping to be able to pick up something nice on the 10-minute mark here. What will be available? Adestam will not... We'll get to the Illusion Wound first, actually. This is nice. You also waste the charge away from Castaway here. It's not that big a deal, it's not that amazing of a rune, but it is a refresh that you have that Castaway doesn't, and he might have to commit another Remnant in order to go home and refill the bottle if he wants to.
Adestam walked up the high ground, caught out by Grove Instincts as well. They have damage onto him, not quite enough just yet, but the turret, the Kokorum Super's there as well. They're trying to make this one count, so you can say quite a bit of damage. This Adestam Kunkka's still alive. They bring down the Ogre Magi. Chosen One drops the ult. He tried to put up an Adestam against it, but he's still standing strong. This man will not die, and looks like he's got support coming in as well. Chosen One has to be careful, because Jappa as well as TKC, they're in there, and he's gonna pull him back into the turret. How is this the end result of this fight? They pick up 3, Adestam face checks a high ground, and Energy pick up 3. Okay, cool story, bro. You know, right somewhere out there is like a coach who's getting ready to review this outcome and say, this is a good example of why you shouldn't face check cliffs. And then sort of like, scratch that, never mind, that never happened.
Yeah, they just have too much survivability. The Coco Rum, like you mentioned, keeps the Kunkka up in such good stead. But another really great thing that happened in that fight, between Soup and TKC, they did a fantastic job. Oh, Paul Deppy!
Sorry, yeah, they caught out Deppy. And Adestam, he's there again trying to support. Stinks hasn't quite been able to finish the job. They're going to bring in Grove as well. Out comes the Spear of Mars from Chosen One. That's enough for now. Can Adestam do it again? He's backed up by TKC. Multicast from the Fire Blast comes out from Schlinks as well. In the tree line, Grove still bouncing around. He's charged out though by Jumper. He's going to go through, get the double stun off. Can they make this happen? Adestam is low. Adestam goes down. Chosen One gets off the God's Rebuke, but throwing now and Castaway. He's around 3, but they're not done with you just yet, Castaway. Schlinks is there to back you up, but isn't enough to get out. They're going to get out the Ignite. They're charging them down. They're wanted on this tower. The ice path goes through. It's not going to latch on much. Castaway still alive. The tower leading into Jumper, and here comes a Sven. They're going to pick up one of the side first. Jumper will survive. Oh, man. That was close. There were a lot of people holding their breath there. I promise you, it wasn't just me.
Ooh, that was a crazy close fight. Everybody came so close to dying, but the real heroes that matter, Sinister 5, get those kills. They take out Adestam, they take out Deppy, and they protect the tier 1 tower. Energy Esports were making this move down bottom in order to try and clean this up and open space for themselves so they can play in this jungle. They plopped down some vision. It always sucks though to plop down this vision inside Radiant jungle without taking the tower, because now you have vision on a part of the map that you can't actually access, which always feels terrible. In Dota 2, you want to be playing around where your team is strong, and generally speaking, that tends to be around vision on the map. And what a fight. Castaway came so close to dying so many times, but on this Ember Spirit is just styling on Energy Esports today.
Yeah, I mean, right now, it's still such a close game. I mean, taking a look again at the graph, still 56-44, so absolutely nothing in it just yet. But I do feel that, like, there's certain players who are picking themselves up in this game to just win for their team, and a surprise prize. One of them I do think is Adestam. He's been very influential in a lot of these fights. Sure, he's 0-2-6, but it's the 6 that I think matters more. He's been in their face. He's been causing problems for Sinister 5. But at the same time, Sinister 5 may be behind a net worth, but oh, they're Hold on, Grove caught out there. Jappa going to kick the strike. This actually might work out a little bit well for him. He's knocked into the low ground. He stays alive a little while longer. Wolf to go down. Slinks now bashed around by that 70%. In comes Costway in the backline. He's going to tap onto TKC. Finishes the job. And in comes this ulti from Chosen One. He actually caught out the Jappa Spirit Breaker. The ulti comes through from Adastum onto Castaway. But Castaway shrugs it off. I don't care. Get back here. I want to have a conversation with you. In the end, it is 3 for 2. And it looks like it will be the end of it, although Castaway is still looking to force the agenda here in the mid lane. Adastam happy to cleave away the creep wave. Get back onto your side as Castaway picks the right rune.
That fight was honestly hilarious. Like, it's kind of felt like none of them could really believe that either of them were there. We're like, oh, wait, are we all fighting here? Wait, what? Seriously? This is happening? Okay. And unfortunately, at the end of the day, Energy, they end up losing multiple heroes, and they have to defend this tier 1 tower middle. God's Strength was popped as well by the Sven, and they're going to Adastam.
Oh man, Adastam is actually unable to respond to this. He's brought down early. They also have eyes on Soup. Can they finish the job? He gets to the time lapse, so you're still alive a little while longer, but he is limping away, not limping away fast enough. Beautiful charge of darkness from Jabba, catches onto 2, but it's not quite enough. He's alone. He's trying to back up the high ground. They're going to stun him out. The Macapie is down as well. They're trying to split the fight. It's not enough. They're going to lose another 3. Energy, they're starting to fall apart here. And Castaway, he smells the blood in the water. TKC and Deppy are back here. If he goes with the Slice Fist, not quite enough. But this tier 1 tower does fall towards the mid lane. And Sinister 5 get another crucial win in this game.
In a massive fight there. They first kill the Adastam Kunkka. And then Energy Esports get really, really greedy. They see this retreat and you can almost hear the communication, right? They're like, look, if the entire enemy team is around this bottlenecked area, this would be the perfect place to deploy spells like Ice Path, Macropire. If Deppy can somehow get in front of all these heroes, we could get an amazing Stone Gaze. That's why Yappa is so willing to charge through everybody, hoping to stall them out long enough for Deppy to catch up. But Deppy's actually the first one to realize that it was a terrible idea, because he's on the high ground, he pops Stone Gaze, then he's like, wait a second, if I go down there and I use Stone Gaze, and it doesn't stone every single hero, they're going to turn around and eviscerate me. So, rather
are you sure about this, Jumper? Picks a 5 mid lane. Jumper gets brought down. And hold on. No, he does go down. Not lie just yet, but that was very curious. He went, charged the mid lane. He wasn't actually going off caster. He was going off the range creep at the back. Hit it, but he didn't cancel it, and the support was there, so they get a very soft kill on that Spirit Breaker. Kind of a weird one, really.
That shouldn't have happened.
Immediately from Sinister 5. What are they doing with this? Top lane.
Top.
Hold on. Adastam, he stays alive a little longer. Beautiful Ice Path into the Macapire as well. They're doing some good work here, some good damage onto this fan, but he's okay. He's going to be able to walk this well. He has popped the God's Strength. There's still a threat. Schlinks caught out by Soup as well. He's pinned up against the tree line. He goes down as well. Another Ice Path comes up from TKC. Castaway onto the Jakiro. In comes the Stormhammer as well. They're going to finish the job 3 for nothing so far. Sinister 5, they want this grand final so bad. 3-9, they're starting to pull ahead here, Snare.
Yeah, they are starting to pull ahead right now. The matchup spread, if it's an even situation, you will very happy to play this Medusa. Hell, you could even be a little bit behind, but you cannot be drastically behind as it stands right now. The Sven, Echo Saber, Mask of Madness, Blink Dagger already up. And these last 2 games, just the way they've been playing these carries from the side of Sinister 5 has just been pretty obscene. One of the things that they've done really well, you know, besides Slinks always having blood. How is Slinks always having Bloodlust on Sven? He's not even on this side of the map, dude. What the hell? But every single time Sinister 5 do this thing where they're fighting, like now, look bottom, right? Deppy's forced to run away, Sven's just gonna farm top, and they just lose Medusa.
Yeah, Costaway, he was on that, and he caught out Jappa as well. They want the Spirit Breaker, they want everything. The Fire Blast gets the multicast, pinned up against the trees again. Down with you, say Sinister 5. 6k up, 22-9, and you are looking at a team that is very hungry for a grand final. They can taste it. It's on the absolute tip of their tongue, and Energy need to respond somehow. But how, Snare? How do they get back into this one?
There are some options, right? They finished the omelets on the Kunkka and they're trying to build into this Heaven's Hellbird. If they can get to the Hellbird in some decent spread, then at least you will have an option against the Sven. And of course, they just need this Medusa to be able to just go 5 uninterrupted minutes, right? Without dying, without being ganked, without being ran at. She still can hard carry this game. All that she needs is time and space to be able to do so. And that's the one thing that Sinister 5 is intent on not allowing them to have. And unfortunately, the only real way to create that time and space is just keep throwing heroes at Sinister 5. Heroes like Yappa, who a lot of these charges Might seem cavalier at first, but he doesn't have another option. He has to do plays like this.
How ridiculous! Jappa destroying Sinister 5 in charge up, but is there enough? Is there from Castaway does damage, and Aston trying to help out. Multicast comes in Slinks as well. They get a contribute to 2. They brought down 1. They want to bring down more. Jappa, he's limping out, he's still alive. Slinks will fall, however. Ice Path catch on Castaway. He has the Remnant up though. Is the damage there? They caught him out. They didn't kick with the torrent, however. They're trying to run him down, and Grove there. In comes Sven. Take that, he says. Brings down 1, and they're charging back in. Crossed away. That is not a hand of friendship. That's a hand of destruction. 5 people dead, but 4 of those deaths belong to Energy. Sin 5 on the back of a beautiful charge. Lose anyways.
Oh my gosh, Adestam, rare mistakes coming in from the Adestam Kunkka. Literally missed every single spell in that fight. And because they didn't have that follow-up available, we did get a couple of heroes caught inside the ice path, but the stun is not nearly long enough. Medusa found herself not actually able to dish out the damage. Heroes were just weaving in and out of the fight. The Mars comes in with an arena, and the arena is not really necessarily meant to actually help kill heroes, but it separates the fight beautifully. Allows Sinister 5 to pretty much pick off heroes one by one by one by one. And Energy Esports so far behind, 9k on gold, experience, only about 1.5, it's not so bad, but they have very few counterplays. They're gonna at least try to get Schlinks right now, and they should be able to pick him up, or not.
And the damage is just not there. Castaway comes back, hitting it to Silent Fist. The searing chains on to 2. The damage again from Sinister 5. They're still trying to deal with this Ogre, but they're starting to fall apart. Castaway, can you do it? TKC, get over here. Finish off another godlike for the Ember Spirit, and another 4 deaths. Energy are falling apart. Sinister 5 just looking too damn good.
Hoodwink, Ember Spirit, I told you, my G. Bushwhack into the Flame God, into Remnants, into Searing Chains. Just so much damage, such a short span of time. Look how much damage Castaway did in that fight. 5,000 hero damage being committed by this Ember. Literally, I want to give context as to how much damage this was in that one fight. In game 2, Deppy dealt 7,000 damage in total on his Faceless Void. Total, the whole game. And here's Castaway just showing up, being like, let me just rock a little bit, you know. Oh, shout out for the setup, Grove. I will finish this one up. That was, honestly, that was like watching the NBA, man. An alley-oop, he comes through, dunks it, 4 heroes gone, and it's just getting harder and harder. Middle, they're already going back in.
Chat, now's your time to shine. I want to see it. If you want to spam some chat for Energy, now's your time to go. And of course, there are only possible responses, one for Sinister 5 as well. So get in there. Let us know who you're supporting. And a Sam caught up by the Fire Blaster Gwen. Chosen does manage to pin him up against that cliff, and this time around there's so much damage. He does get the cook from Wood, lands it, hits onto 2, but it's not in time. Although the torrent's there, they lose another 2, and of course with BKB up, forces by Sven, they are more than happy to keep going. Another objective down. Oh man, Energy just look, they look in so much trouble.
Yeah, and with Roshan now up, God Strength is ticking down on the duration, so it's time to utilize the last moments of this on the big man. Get this Aegis going. And, you know, this is very similar to game 2 in the sense that the way that they've decided to run their off lane is preventing them from being able to take fights. Deppy might die bottom!
Yeah, bottom lane, they caught him out again.
Oh,
they use the scan as well to make sure they can find him, but Chosen and Castaway more than happy to lap up that kill. They pick up yet another one, and it just feels like at the moment Energy don't have any practical responses. How do you lose your one position and a Roshan at the same time? That's crazy. That's something you will very rarely see in Dota, and it's not over just yet. Jappa is going to find himself up against, he's dying to get up that Quicksilver. He did get it, found the neutral, but unfortunately for him, it is going to cost him his life. I mean, there's something, whose Quicksilver was it?
Yappa.
Who owns it?
The amulet, I think that's... Does anybody have the amulet? I think they tossed a fake grenade at him.
So I think that was actually Sinister 5's Crystal Amulet, so I think that's why I went for it. So there's something in there, going to deny them a little bit. And Asam once again gets Coco around. Castaway going to BKB through it. They get the sharpshooter off onto Adastam, and this looks over. They're in so much trouble. The buybacks are not coming in. They're going to possibly lose Rax here. They have 37 seconds before that Kunkka can come back online. And of course, They're tier 3 under siege, and this Sven is devastating right now. He is laying into this one. He's ignited, he's bold, he's got backup, and of course he knows that there isn't a threat on the map that can deal with them. The tier 3 goes down, and now it is time for Certified to start punching away, start booking that ticket. They're on the website, they're looking up the prices, because they can feel that they have a flight to a grand final.
Oh wow, an Energy Corp GG!
Sinister 5! They're not wasting any time tonight! They've had their extra game in the bank, and Energy tap out! Sinister 5, ladies and gentlemen, that is your EGL 1 Season 2 first grand finalist, and man, did they make it look good in Game 3.
Woo. Sinister 5 out here with the final boss type of posture here. They don't just earn a place in the grand finals, they waltz into it, tap dancing on the grave of their opponents. Energy Esports really felt game 1 after that stomp that they delivered to Sinister 5 probably felt really good. They were like, oh, we got this, we can make this happen. But Sin 5, not just the recovery, but the manner of the recovery, how much stronger they looked game after game. And this is championship caliber, right? Is where it's not enough to just stay at the level where you lost. You have to upgrade from that level. You have to step up. You have to show a new look to your game plan. And it's just apparent that Sinister 5 have the better ability to be able to do that. They adapted to their loss in a way that Energy Esports just simply wasn't able to. And I think it also says a lot about how the games went, that Sinister 5 ran remarkably different drafts. Well, this one's not too different from game 2, but it's quite different. It's different enough. And 3 different looks. The first one doesn't work. You bring a second one, you stomp. You bring a third one, and you still stomp. That tells me that you truly deserve to be the final boss. You truly deserve to be in grand finals. And they really, really, really will be favoring themselves to win EGL 1 Season 2 overall.
But you see, that's the beauty of it, Snare. Like, you see, okay, so all we know, you don't know who the winner is anymore. I mean, all that you really know is the Sinister 5. They ran the upper bracket. They were the undisputed best until now. Because here's the thing. I still think that you have some vicious contenders waiting for you. Firstly, you don't just beat Energy and that be the end of it, right? Like, this is a team that are going to look back, they're going to reflect, and they're coming back even harder, right? And they have a date with either WOG or Exdee, right? 2 sides that I think are they're in very interesting positions right now, because I firstly think that WOG is a side that they've come alive again. This was a team that I had counted out. I didn't think very much of what they could produce, and they actually look pretty good, right? Exdee, I picked this team to win this tournament, and I can tell you right now, there's somebody in Exdee chat, right? There's somebody one of you is there in chat right now, and put it in there so that you can back me up here. They're here to win EGL 1 Season 2, so you can't count them out either, right? Absolutely. So you have these 2 sides, WG, Exdee, waiting for Energy, right? One of them is going to take them on, right? Or Energy's waiting for them, I guess. And of course, Sinister 5 looking so good. We have 4 sides that can win this event. Sure, right. You have some outside numbers, right? But it's so damn cool. It's so damn cool that we're here. Like, in 2020, it felt like Dota 2 was dying in South Africa. And 2021 was like, nah, we're good. We're good, fam. And it's so good to see this kind of caliber of skill, this kind of competition. I mean, the production, and I genuinely mean this, the casters that are both part of this event, yourself, Corny, not a hero, and of course I have to give a special mention to Shake as well, who's been kind of an unofficial caster, if you will. Fantastic work done by these individuals that are just examples of how alive this scene is. And shout out to the other community the events and everything. This is so damn cool, and it's not over yet.
It's still
not over yet.
What's crazy, right, is remember what we're talking about. This is just a preview. The grand finals themselves, not only do we have the chance for games of this caliber to repeat, right? Might be different teams. We don't know who's going to come up now to challenge Sinister 5 in the grand finals. However, we also know it's going to be 5 games there. Still another BO3 to determine top 3. Still another BO3 to determine who gets to challenge Sinister 5. And this game right here, this matchup, we spoke about it beforehand that no matter what happens, this will not be the end, right? This will simply be the beginning of learning. People will use this game as a template. Be like, okay, cool. This is how we deal with Energy Esports. Sinister 5 handled them in these particular ways. This is where we need to be warding if we want to make sure that we're not running afoul of Schlinks. Game 1, for example, TKC beat Schlinks in the warding war in the Vision battle. How do we do that? Everybody's downloading the replays. There's no way right now that of the close to 200 plus people watching, there's no way that WRG aren't sitting Exdee, all of them, you know, taking notes, making sure that they catch every single second to be like, yes, this is what we're going to be doing if we have to play against them. So it's kind of crazy that games of this caliber, it's just a preview, because there's no way that the Dota doesn't get better after this, because we've learned, we've grown, and we're going to use that to show that the scene is not dead, it's alive and thriving, and the teams themselves are alive and improving.
Ladies and gentlemen, the upper bracket final of EGL 1 Season 2. And it's just a preview. I think we'll leave it there, Snare. You happy? You good?
I'm happy. I want game 4, honestly.
We'll see game 4 on... I think it's Thursday is the next matchup for Exdee and White Rabbit Game, if not mistaken.
Yeah.
Please check Twitter to make sure I didn't get that wrong. But obviously, I'm going to be joining you there. Snare's going to be joining you there in the spectator seat as you watch Not a Hero and Corny take that one away. And man, it's going to be a fantastic game. I assume it'll be just as good as this series. And then, of course, this weekend. That's an important thing to note. Normally, we're a week show. Like, you know, you catch us on Tuesdays, you catch us on Thursdays, you know, whatever the dates are that ESCOM are kind to us, right? But this week is a special one, because this week we have so much Dota. It's beautiful. We're going to be back at you at this weekend as well. So, guys, girls, join us for more, because it is the time to wrap up the year. It's the time to take it home. It's the time to remind everyone out there that Dota 2 South Africa is a beautiful space that's alive, that's it's just getting started. Snare, such a pleasure casting with you, my man. Do you want to take us home? Say goodbye to everyone for us.
So, ladies, gentlemen, my NB comrades in chat, this has been the upper bracket final. This has been Sinister 5, guaranteed grand finalists, guaranteed top 2. We have the final boss, EGL 1 Season 2. We're in the final stretch. We're in the finale portion. And this week, we end off and cap off not just a year of great Dota 2, but a year where we rebuilt the scene pretty much from the ground up. And the fruits of that labor will be expressed on the weekend. So make sure you're tuned in, make sure that you're following everybody, and make sure that you come back right here in front of your computer on Thursday, where we continue some more incredible EGL 1 action. We'll see you there.